Well, welcome. We do have some introduction slides we're going to run through about like general basic navigation in Workday. I like recognize some of you, so I'll kind of run through them fast. We have activities for you to do today. Some of them you're going to follow along with me, but if you will wait and not go ahead, I know some of you guys are like speedy and want to get your homework done. There's just certain things I'm going to call out. So all of our all of our activities, if you don't finish, but they build on each other. So if we enter like a wrong date or we don't do a staff member, it won't work next week when we continue walking through the recruiting process. So there's just a few things, but I'll let you know when you're following along with me. We'll give you breaks, give you time to do your activities. Okay, let's do some introduction. My name is Laura Marriott. I've done some of the COE sessions. I was a BYU student on Program Granite, so it's kind of cool when I got hired by Cognizant, which is Program Granite's consulting partner as they implement Workday. I live in Davis, California now, Northern California, but help with trainings. And then we have Tanya. Let Tanya introduce herself.
Tanya Gray. I think I met some of y'all virtually during the COE training, so happy to be here. Also with Cognizant, been here since the beginning of the program. Always love getting to come travel to Utah. I live just north of Houston, Texas, where it's still like 95 and humid. So great being here this week.
Awesome. And then we have Catherine. I hear you all know Catherine.
Well, I was just gonna say one thing. So my introduction is different to you guys since you guys know everything and know me. But I think one thing that I can let you know, if you don't know, is we're gonna be dividing our recruiting up by industry. And so Chris, for example, will be recruiting IT and AV professionals all over campus. Carter is going to be doing student employment, which is, we've never done recruiting for student employment, so we're really excited about that. And then Jen, as the talent acquisition manager, she'll be handling all the white collar professional jobs all over campus. And then we have one more position that we'll be hiring the end of the year, and that is going to be blue collar trades. So just FYI.
Thanks. So yeah, Catherine's here to help through questions. And then we also have Misha's picture. You guys saw that, which probably she's online. So if we have questions and we're not sure, the BYU specific, we'll reach out to Misha as well. So feel free to ask those questions or we'll jot them down. So she's helped us put together this deck and helped us prepare this presentation. So we'll jump into our agenda. We have some overview slides. We're going to do core concepts, talk about employee types, job architecture, do a recruiting overview, job requisitions. So we're all going to create a job rec, then our job's going to get posted. And then we're going to talk about career sites, and then we're all going to apply as an external candidate today. As a fake external candidate, and then next week, we're going to continue walking them through the recruiting process. Before we begin, we have our safe harbor statement. This is a training environment, so please remember that things are subject to change. Although we are getting close and we're getting close to go live, there's some things in here. You're going to see old data. You're going to see maybe people that I don't support these people. They don't longer work in here, things like that, in some configurations. But again, training environment. So everything we do is fake. If we ask you to terminate someone, they're not actually getting terminated. I would also like to make sure everyone is in BYU 11. So at the top of the bar in Workday, the number 11 should be there. If you're seeing 8 or 6, Tanya will help you with that. No worries.
What's that? Okay.
So which training?
It should be 11.
Tanya will go
Right here. You are. Lauren can help. We've been having people get
BYU Workday. And then it should say 11 up here.
You should be able just to log in. Okay, they'll walk around and check.
So you get the Workday mobile app.
Awesome. Another slide about some important notes. So today you're going to be completing your role either as a business partner or an operations specialist. Some of you might be managers though. And so you also support those people. And so we want to make sure we are working with the people we support as business partners and operations specialists. We'll explain that. And then you also might be seeing how security works. You might be seeing a lot of organizations. We're gonna look at the workers I support in organizations, and if it's more than you support, that's okay. If it's not the people you support and something looks really funny and you don't have the right security, we'll work on that. We have a QR code, but we'll jot it down. We
Got it.
forgot our QR code.
Brought a QR code.
Okay, we'll get you connected with the QR code and you can put in security requests. Okay, also, we mentioned there's gonna be some lab sessions beginning in mid-October in prep for the service delivery model dress rehearsal early November. So you're gonna have more time to practice. Quickly, this is just our slide about our HCM cutover timeline. Basically, all I wanna call out is there's some important dates coming up. We'll be receiving communications about these dates. Basically, at one point, we have to turn on PeopleSoft, turn on Workday, so there's important dates. Look out for those communications. And you guys are probably in the know what's going on, so. Okay, you guys are all logged into Workday. We also, on the training hub, you guys are all, we hopped you into the training hub, correct? So on our training hub, we have some resources. We have our check-in survey. We have these slides we posted here. And then we also have our activity guides. So we have physical ones for you, but we also, if you want to use one online, we have an online activity guide for you as well. Let me know if you have any questions about that. Alrighty, let's jump into our overview. So today we're going to talk about positions, job catalog, job requisitions, and job posting. In our recruit to hire overview, that leads us next week to candidate management, hire, and then our third week, we're going to talk about onboarding. So this kind of gives you a glimpse in what we're going to talk about and the overview of these sessions. All right, now for Workday core concepts. Hopefully, this is some new stuff. Some of you probably know this. Okay, so I'm just going to call out some of the main things in Workday with this slide that you'll be using. We have our menu, it's our navigation menu. You can get all your applications there. The applications you're seeing are the ones that you're going to be using. They're based off your role. We have BYU, always click BYU to return home. Our search bar, we love our search bar. If you're not finding something, try searching for it in the search bar. You can shorten your words. I like to use half my words. I don't have to type in the whole sentence. Hopefully you guys have all found that trick to make it faster when you're searching for things. We have our notifications, the little bell in the top right corner. My right, your left. That's going to be your alerts. Nice to know, but you don't take action on these. It's going to let you know about something. The inbox, which is the next one. The my tasks. When you have items here, you need to take action on it. It's a to-do, it's approval. You need to look at those, click approve, move it on. Someone's waiting. You're in my tasks. Your profile picture, hopefully those are loaded. I know they weren't in the past, and now you should see your picture. That's your account options. You can change the language of Workday there, change some other things. We have our inbox preview. So things will pop up here that are waiting your action, similar to your My Tasks. We have our Workday delivered task suggestions. So Workday pulls in a little bit of AI features to pull in some things. Maybe you haven't updated your contact information in a while, or your home address, it might pop that here. Remind you of some things, just reminders. We have our frequently used applications. That's a great resource for those ones you're constantly going back to. You can have your top apps there. And then we have commonly initiated tasks as well. All right. Go back. Any questions about these? You're all seeing these? Pros. Okay. All righty. Next we have My Tasks Management. We talked about this. This is where your inbox tasks are going to come through. And what I really wanted to talk about is the details and the process. You can view the details here of the action or part of the step, but the process tab right over here. You see my mouse? Yes, my mouse. The process tab, when you click on it, you can view the process history. So if you're waiting on someone to approve something, you can go look where it's sitting, where it's at, and where it's in the process. We're gonna use that a lot today. We're gonna probably have to find some of your inbox tasks. So we're gonna go have you look there in the process tab, figure out where it's sitting if it's in anyone's inbox. Feel free to stop me at any point with questions. All right, we have our beloved related actions button. Hopefully you guys have all used it. Also now obviously Workday. So we're going to use our related actions button a lot. We can act on candidates, employees, and organizations. It shows us, depending on our security, what actions we can take. So if we can terminate or job change an employee, we're going to see that. If we don't have that security, we won't see it on the related actions button. You can see across the Cooper here. When we hover over related actions, it turns a color so then we can click on it and see what actions we can take. Alrighty. Okay, let's jump into some general navigations. You guys can follow along with me. We're going to do this really fast since I know you guys have been in there. I'm going to hop over to Workday. So I'm going to demo it. You guys can follow along with our activity. So we're doing activity 1.1, 1.2, and 1.3 right now. So give me 1 second. Okay. Sorry, it's our first in the library. All right, so I'm logged in as Harper HR. You guys are probably familiar with her. She's our fictitious training employee. She's kind of all powerful, all knowing. So she's going to see something that you might see in the tenant. She has different security roles. So we're just going to explore the Workday homepage. So let's take a look at the menu. You can follow along. We see all of our applications here. Talent and performance, benefits and pay, time, all of those applications. We can use our search bar. So maybe I wanted to look up a job requisition. This will be a good example. You can just type in JR, type in the number of the job rec, shorten JR for job requisition. You can put in your number, click search. I don't know if that's a real job rec or not. Anyways, here it is. First one. Okay, awesome. I wanted to call this out when we use the search bar. We'll call this out again. If you're not seeing something, expand your options on the left-hand side. I'll show you that again. If you search for something that's not popping up, Workday likes to show you people. So click more options. Yes.
So if you're looking for a job rec, if you don't have the job rec,
Yeah, so we have our recruiting hub over here, and that's how you'd be able to search for it. We're in the application recruiting hub, and we're going to dive deep into that next week where you can find those job recs. For today, we're going to have you write down the numbers to search for it. Okay. If I click BYU, I return home. Let's go take a look at our notifications. So if I click on the notifications button, I have one notification. You might have more than me. This is basically just saying that Harper HR was created. So just a notification. There's nothing I need to do here. If I click on my tasks, this is going to pull up all my tasks. Right now, I don't have any. I've completed them all. But this would show my current tasks. We're going to see those as we continue walking through. And then if I go down here to archive, so this archive button, this is where we can see the tasks that I've completed. So we can see the details and we can view more details about this task. So if I click to view details, I would see more information about this job requisition. It's an old task. And then I can also click on the process tab. And this is going to show me the process history, where it went, if it's successfully completed or not. I see the overall status is successfully completed, so I know it's done. It'll say in progress if it's still awaiting someone's action. And then I can see where it went. Catherine posted this job yesterday, so we can see that Catherine, staff recruiting coordinator, she completed it and posted the job, so it's complete. That's where you're going to go find all your process history. It's super helpful. Any questions about that? Yes. Process. So I went to archive. Are you in archive?
Oh,
Archive, and then, yep. So up here, this is my active inbox items that's going to come to me. And then if I click archive, this one down here, that's everything I've completed. And then we have detailed and process. Everyone see that? Yeah.
Are we also supposed to be able to see this?
job rec.
No.
232.
Job rec.
This is just mine.
Okay.
It's Harper HR. If you don't see anything, it's I haven't done stuff, but you'll see stuff today as you create a job rec and different things. Yep. Okay. Let's do activity 1.2. So we are going to take a look at the org chart. I personally love the org chart. So how I'm going to get there is I'm just going to click on my profile picture and then click view profile. We're going to take a look at our worker profile in 1 minute. So let's first go jump over to the org chart. Underneath my profile picture, I can see this team button. I'm going to click on this, and this is going to take me to the org chart. This is a nice and pretty view of the org chart. So we have every employee, staff, student, faculty in our org chart. So we'll now be able to see students and where they sit. You can see your manager. We're going to talk about organizations in a minute, but I just wanted to pull this up. We can see who my manager is. My manager is Mac's manager, and I can see everyone on my team. I have a lot of fun people, lots of Disney people and training employees. You can scroll up and down through the org chart. I can scroll all the way up to President Reese, and I can see everyone at the organization. Okay.
Search in the org chart. You just scroll.
You can scroll, and then if you know like the employee name, you would search for them, click on their worker profile, go to the same button, do the org chart, and it's going to show it from their perspective. Their manager is who they're directly working on. We're going to take a look at this again in a couple slides. What I want you to do though is go find, click on your org chart, and then I want you to go find an employee you support, or an employee that's near you. So if they're a direct report of yours, or they're sitting next to when it's loading. But it's fine, and we an employee. Someone. Let's click on the related actions button. That's what we're looking at right now. So I'm going to look at maybe Emily employee. Click on her related actions button, and again, Harper HR, she might be seeing more than you. But I can see the different actions that I can take on Emily employee. I can change her job. I can end her job. I can terminate Emily. I can transfer her. I can view some of her personal data.
I'm going to terminate you.
It's
not allowed.
Not allowed. Awesome. You can click on a couple people's related actions buttons. So I'll search for Cosmo Cougar. There he is. That's okay, even though I spelled it wrong. All right, I can click on Cosmo's related actions. Again, I'm seeing similar things. Any questions about the related action button? Super helpful. Okay, awesome. All right, let's do activity 1.3 now. So we're gonna navigate to our worker profile and kind of explore that. So let's go back and click on our profile picture and click view profile. And if I'm kind of speeding along, the activity guide has step by step too. And I'm gonna give you a minute after this to keep exploring. So if you're not keeping up with me, it's not a problem. Okay, so this is our worker profile, has a lot of important information. And we have our summary tab where we can look at our employee ID, our supervisory organization, our position, our job profile, our job family. We're going to talk more about those later. Our employee type, management level. She's a manager, department chair, your time type. You can see all of that information here. You can also see it on other people. You're not going to obviously see more information you can't see depending on your security. But you can also look at other people's worker profiles, get things like contact information, where they work, things like that. Awesome. She has a job tab. She has a couple different tabs. We're going to come back to this in our next activity. She has a job tab with some important information like organizations and support roles. We'll look at that next. You can view your compensation, benefits, your absence plans, your pay. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys a couple minutes. Some of you are following along with me to do these activities. Anything else you want to do? Drink water, and we're going to come back. If you want to catch up, I'll give you guys like a couple minutes, and then we'll jump back into the slides. So activities 1.1 through 1.3.
If the person is. The person can make changes.
Yeah, we can.
There be somebody.
Or something. If you're changing certain things, it's going to route to like benefits. Yeah, you have a spreadsheet. Oh.
I think it's something as recruiters. You should look and see if you can see one.
Anyone find anything exciting? Anyone like have a favorite thing they found?
The DMBA stuff.
Yeah.
That is. The temple opt-in. Whether they opted, I don't know, go to John and know if they opt-in.
Where is that? Summary.
It was under. Where was it?
If they opted into their.
Under this data, comes off, flips off from the left.
Yeah. Interesting.
Okay. Let's go ahead and move on. I didn't pull up the training hub website. I didn't have it pulled up, but I think you guys have all been there, the training hub before. Awesome. So that has the direct link to Workday. So you're welcome to go back and log into Workday, back after this and do these activities. Some things need approvals, but you can go in there. Just make sure it's 11 for us. Otherwise, it's okay if it's not, but we're working with the web developer to make sure it's correct. But yeah, you're welcome to go back and continue these activities with our activity guide. All right, let's dive into some Workday core concepts. So we're going to talk about organizations, position management, security roles, and business processes. Okay, so let's jump into our first one, organizations. So organizations, they group workers together. So organizations can tie workers to multiple organizations, each with a different purpose. So there's a lot of different organizations in Workday, but they group workers together. So there's cost centers, supervisory organizations, there's companies, and we're going to take a look at the organizations that you belong to. But organizations are super important in Workday, and they allow us to group workers together and allow us to have cost centers tied to organizations. So a certain organization uses one cost center.
They're all different kinds of organizations, and these are the names that we generally see. Supervisory.
We're gonna jump into more in detail. That's just kind of an overview of organizations, but yeah, the ones that you're mostly going to be seeing are supervisory, cost center, company. Yes, this is a good overview of the technology. Great question. Yeah, our first one is supervisory organization. This one's the most important. That's what we always say. Don't tell the finance people. Cost centers are also important. Supervisory organizations tells us who reports to who, and it also drives a lot of security in Workday. Everyone belongs to an organization. So we have a good example here. We can see we have employees and they're sitting underneath their manager. So your manager is not in the organization, they sit above it. And then we can see that their manager is the director and it's above them. Okay, we took a look at the org chart, so we kind of saw this in real life. Any questions on supervisory organizations? We're going to see a lot of them. I know we kind of created some. In a supervisory organization, you're going to see all of your open positions as well. Not only your active employees, you're going to see also your.
So you can actually search for one in the search bar, right? If you know the name of the support.
Yes, you can search for if you know the name. And that was in your worker profile. So Harper HR's is training staff yellow, give it a color. So I know the name of my supervisory organization. Some supervisory organizations are going to be big. I think Rob was telling us yesterday, there's like 60 students in one. And then maybe if you just have one direct report, this is a supervisory organization. They can be small or they can be very big, depending on what's needed across campus. Yes.
What happens if the manager?
So if the manager leaves, that's a great question. The position is going to still stay there. We're going to talk about this in a minute, but they're just going to leave. The position will still exist, and so will supervisory organization, but the person will no longer. So there's a difference between that person data and the position data. We're going to talk about that, but it'll still remain.
So on the org chart, it'll show the empty chair.
It'll show the empty chair.
Okay, that's so awesome, guys. No more orphans.
Orphans. Yes. Okay. Next is cost centers. So cost centers are going to be assigned to positions. We're going to see that when we create our job recs. And this is going to identify which budget is responsible for paying for the salary and other job related costs. So we have a lot of cost centers. They're connected to our positions, to the department, and it's linking all of that together. And so that allows us to be able to create positions, and there's cost centers, and then link to those cost centers. You can add funds or grants, gifts, all of those different things.
Are they names, numbers, or both?
Their names. So if it's like life sciences, it'd be life sciences. Or if it was accounting, it'd be accounting. There's also numbers attached to it, but you can look at it by just searching the name.
So I just found it under job and organizations, and it says cost center for human resources, CC 10216 human resources.
Yeah, so it does
Find
have,
it?
a number, and then, but you can find it by searching the name.
Okay.
They are named, but also they do have an ID.
Do you have to do like a job rec? Do you do cost center and a colon and then the name? Or do you just start typing human resource services
When you're trying to add a cost center job rec
when you're trying to search?
for a cost center, you could probably search. Do you know the answer to this? If she's searching for a cost center in the search bar, is there like an abbreviation?
Or a soup org? Are you?
SoupOrg is org,
Okay.
ORG colon. Let me look at cost center. I think there is. I just don't know it off the top of my head. I can find one for you.
There's probably a short way, and then you could search on like the department. Life sciences.
So I did org colon human and then it brought up a bunch of different options and it brought up a center and a soup org.
Yeah, there used to be a trick to get all the prefixes.
I know.
Do you remember what it is?
I'll show you this, but you can narrow down your searches. So if you also just searched life sciences, you can click on organizations and it'll just show you the organizations, or it'll just show you the tasks or the reports in the search bar. So we'll take a look at that. Any other questions about cost centers? Okay, awesome. Next is locations. So Workday uses locations, physical or virtual places within an organization structure. We wanted to call this out, but for BYU, most people are going to use BYU General Campus, but there is some areas that don't. Like, for example, FSY, we have employees who work in other states, and so we're able to group them together by their location. But you can see how this would be important for maybe a global organization, that they group them together by state. If you have workers in California, workers in New York, different things like that. But most of the time you're going to be seeing BYU General Campus, but all of the other locations that BYU uses is there and are used. And then one other quick call out about this, for global organizations, it's really important for tax purposes. That's why we group together by location. Okay. Our next topic is position management. In the past, I know BYU has used something a little bit different than this. We refer to it as job management currently in Workday, but we're using position management now. And so what that means is each position is going to, we like to refer to it as a chair. So there's going to be a chair for each position, and it's going to exist. We're going to talk about this in a minute, but we've created all of the positions. They're already there. And so our chairs are already sitting there, are open positions. When someone is hired and comes to BYU, they sit in that chair and they fill that seat. There's a difference between the person and the position data, but they sit in that chair. When they leave the organization and move on, they leave that chair, but the position remains open. And so all of those things like security, the cost center, they're all still tied to that position and they remain. So when someone new comes to the organization, for example, if one of you left and you're HR operations specialist, when someone comes new and fills your position, they will have that security HR operations specialist. We won't have to grant them that. And I know that was sometimes tricky to get them all the security access. So they'll fill that seat and they'll have all the security they need. Every employee has an individual position. So that's going to exist across all of campus, which is a difference for students at dining and all those big ones. But those positions will stay open. So when they hire a bunch of students when fall semester starts, and then they leave, all those chairs will stay open and they can just hire more students. All the position history is tracked, so you can see who filled that seat. Everything going forward is going to be tracked in Workday. All of our previous position history is not going to be in Workday, but there is a way to go access that. I don't know the exact place they're keeping it, but they have another system keeping all that older position history.
How do we track position history? Is it by going to the org chart?
It's by going to that position. Yeah.
But how do you find it other than on the org chart?
Say the first part of that question again.
So is there a smarter way to find the position other than on the org chart? Is there
You
another
can just
way?
pull up the position number. I think that prefix is POS,
Oh,
and then type in the name, probably the position number if you know it.
I'm like, ooh, I don't know. You know the position
So-
number.
I actually found, so when you get back in the tenant,
Yes.
just put in a question mark in the search bar and you get all the search prefixes.
Good question mark in the search bar. Okay. Let's talk about this next slide and then we'll kind of talk about questions on position management. So I mentioned this, there's a difference between position data and person data. So what that means is our position has specific details and data that are tied to it. And the people who fill those seats also do, and they're separate and different. So our position is going to have our position title. It's going to have our employee type and time type if it's a student, if they're part-time, if it's a faculty member. It's going to have all of that tied to the position. It's going to have a pay rate and a pay range. So it's not going to have a specific dollar amount, but it's going to have a range from our compensation package saying if you're a student worker 1, the pay range is going to be between this and this. It's going to have a management level, and it's going to have other job details like the location, supervisory hierarchy, company, and cost center, all tied to the position. Okay, now the person who fills that seat is going to have their own information, like their personal information, their contact information, home address, all of that. It's going to have their compensation history. So let's say I was an employee and I moved to a new position. I changed jobs. You can see history of what positions I filled before I filled my new position. Yeah, for example, if I was a training specialist, you can see that, and then I moved on to training manager. I'm now in the training manager seat, but you can see I was previously a training manager. I filled that position. You can see performance goals and feedback on the employee. And we're going to talk about that in week 5, about performance management. And talent profile as well, all our experience and skills. We're going to talk about how to fill that in. And then you can see all of my worker history as well. So they're 2 separate things. So when someone leaves that position, all of the position data stays and the employee or person data goes with the person. Any questions about position management? Yes.
Maybe we'll get into this, but are you going to show us also how to create positions?
Yes. So we are going to create a new position. I think some of you guys can create positions. Creating positions for
Do you mean like creating
a new
Like
position.
a new position, like,
Would that just be done by comp, not by us?
yeah, probably not us. I was just curious. 'Cause
Yeah.
I think people ask, like, but like,
Yeah, I don't think we can.
We'll dive into that. We're going to talk about where new positions come from. I have a slide on that. I think you guys do have the security to create positions. This group does. If not, we're going to create them for you. We're going to see. I checked some of you. Some of you can. Just to make it easier for like our slides here. Let me see.
I mean, we can't now. Let's see. That control.
Okay. Here. I'll really fast answer your question. Yeah, like from what I understand, like managers can
Oh,
create
maybe
positions,
that's
but
how
it
it
has to go through compensation.
Oh,
Okay, let me say what I know, and then we can dive into those specifics. So I know there's 3 ways that positions are going to be created at UAU. So one is going to be employees leaving the not created, but positions are going to become open. The first is employees leaving the organization. So if we terminate someone, then we're going to have an open chair. So then you can fill that with a new person. The second way is central HR is going to create extra positions. They're called like this platform. So there's gonna be a bunch of extra positions open in your org that you can fill. For example, for student workers, they're gonna create a bunch of open student worker positions. And that's gonna be there at Go Live. So if you need to hire new student employees, you won't have to go in and request a new position or create it. It's just gonna exist. And then there's just gonna be open ones and filled ones with time, depending on what you need. So if you need a new a faculty member needs a TA or an RA, they can move them around as needed. So there's gonna be extra open, like buffer positions.
They assign to each department a number.
You're assigned to each like department in each organization. Now, if you don't have enough or you need a new position, so business partners can request to create them, which means you can create one, but then it's going to go to central HR and they can approve it or send it back to you and say, we don't approve this. So you do have operations specialists don't, but business partners can go in, search, create position and create one. And then whether or not it gets approved or not, it's through central HR. I know that they're all specialists, but since this is like more central, I do think you have to create this. That kind of answer your question?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying. The vendors,
Oh, okay, so that makes sense.
that, yeah, they request the position, but then it's go through.
Yes, it has to go through those things. And when we say request, like some people are like, is that outside the workday? What do you mean request? It just means you go and you create a position, you put in all the information you need, and we're gonna walk through that, and then they approve it or not. Yes.
So does an employee have the ability to see their position data?
I think most of it.
Yeah, most of it.
Yeah.
Yep. You can actually go in if you're still in Workday and your profile. I know you have more security than the average Joe employee, but on your homepage, you should have your position there and it should be hyperlinked. You can click on it and open. So any employee could do that.
You can't see like comp range and stuff on the position.
No.
They won't be able to
You
see
would, but-
this. You would, but like a student worker can go in and be like, what's the range of the compensation transition? You can see that. They would just see their compensation. Okay. Excuse me while I go back like a bunch of slides. Good questions. Okay. Anything else before we move on to security? Okay, so we've talked a lot about security, but security allows and dictates what individuals may see and execute in the system. So Workday security roles grant you access needed to fulfill your job responsibilities. So the security roles are not directly related to job titles. They align with job functions. And so we're able to configure security to our needs, our organizations. This is gonna dictate like who gets what inbox items, who gets routed to, all those different things.
That's why when you're saying we have ops roles, that's what.
Yes, you have the ops specialist security. That's gonna allow you to do certain things that other users can't, see certain things that other users can't. You also might have the security role manager. Manager allows you to see information on your direct reports, if you're a manager, and different things like that. Awesome. Any questions about security? I know we've kind of been talking about it generally. Okay. Okay, so we talked about this. If you don't have security, if you're not seeing, like we go to create a job rec and you can't do it. We have a QR code you can fill out. Again, like we mentioned, if you're seeing, we're gonna go look at the organization's use report. If it's totally wrong, I'm not in this department or I'm not doing this. We have a QR code, let us know, we can fill that out. After December 21st or go live, if you need more security or someone needs more security to perform their job functions, you can create a case in Workday, and then our security team will work on that to get them the right security. So the QR code is just for kind of our training purposes, and then after go live, you're able to submit cases as well to get the right security updated.
Is the security team that Cognizant or is that someone inside security?
Yeah, that's
The ops center.
That's the program grant team that are working on that. It's just, I think it's like a team of like 5 or 6 people. Who, yeah, just working on security, trying to get it right, trying to make sure we have the correct HR operations specialists, department, business partners, all of that, finance operations. So yeah. We're working hard on it, getting like new hires. It's hard when people are coming and going. And they're the ones that have the access and the right stats.
Have that QR code here.
We don't.
Oh, it's in our other training room.
Training room. Well, but we can, like Sean, if you could like maybe have someone take a picture of it if we need it and send it to us. Who's over in Program Granite?
I mean, zero back request.
Yeah, we can, we'll get a picture of it and then you can scan it. Okay,
Sorry, how do you find the results?
Oh. You already took care of it. You might be security team.
Let's do.
How do you find the touch table?
So you'll just like health in the search bar. And then the health center will pop up and you'll hit create case, but I don't
But
think
not
it's
until
working.
go live.
it's not
Yeah,
working.
yeah, that's like a go live.
Oh, I think.
Yeah, there's nothing connected to it right now.
I don't think it'll work.
No.
No one will be there to respond to your case.
Question,
Yeah.
since they're role based, can you see in your profile the role, your security role you have? Are they each like names, see what it is, what it contains?
Yeah, so we're gonna take a look. We can see our roles. We can see the people that support us in those roles as well. Yeah, we can see the different roles that we have. We'll take a look at that. Okay. Yep, perfect. Let's jump in right into our demo and activity. So we are on 1.4 through 1.7. You guys are welcome to follow along with me again. So kind of just looking around in the tenant. So if you want to follow along, I'm gonna hop over to Workday. So we're just gonna explore some of the organizations we belong to and the organizations and workers I support. And if you're like, what does that mean? We're gonna take a look at what orgs you support, what workers you support.
You said this is not up to date, because I'm not.
Is it your old?
Yeah.
Mine's not.
Yeah, so yeah, it's not up to date.
And how soon will that be up to date?
At go live.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, so it'll be the same out of date data until go live.
In this tenant, yeah.
Because we're just taking like a snapshot.
Okay.
And using it. Or
We're
tracing it.
anticipating an updated tenant. anytime soon.
No, BYU 11 will be, it is what it is until, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they're gonna take that snapshot of like real data, like closer to go live, like who are the employees are working and what work are they working in. But it's more accurate. Let's see. Okay, awesome. Okay, so our first activity we're going to do is 1.4, view the organizations you belong to. So we're going to go back to our worker profile. I'm already there. But click on your picture, and then click view profile if you left. And we're going to view the job tab. So I left off here. I'm ahead. Okay, so I'm going to go to the job tab. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to view the organizations we belong to. So we talked about our cost centers, our companies, our supervisory organizations. So you're just going to click organizations up here. Corporate HR only belongs to one. She belongs to her supervisory organization. You can see we're talking about the names of organizations. It's training staff yellow. That's sort of name of her board, but you can see the names of it. You guys should be seeing more for your organizations. You should be seeing your cost centers. She's just. You guys see more than I am? Perfect.
I'm wondering where you sit. If the role isn't in this.
No, not in this one. This is just the organizations we belong to.
Are they in like a hierarchy or
All right, what
Organizations
organizations in
are
order?
they in an order? Are they in a hierarchy or are they just in different teams?
On that page, oh, it might be alphabetical. I don't think there's a specific order.
Like, starting out company.
Oh, under organization type, organization type is alphabetical.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, let's jump over here. We're gonna take a look at support roles now. Okay, so here in our support roles tab, we can view the roles and the workers that support me or us. So who supports Harper HR? So who's my benefits partner? Who's my comp partner? My HR analyst. So I can see that assignable role over here. And then I can see those workers who are assigned. You might be seeing a lot because she might be assigned something as like the top work, but you're going to see who supports you specifically, and that's assigned at the organization level. And then, so if we assign it like at President Reese, it's going to go all the way down. My manager is going to go all the way down. The support role. Manager goes down. Yep, I can see my manager listed here. I can see my talent partner, my time coordinator. Any questions about the workers that support you? Okay, awesome. Now we're going to go look at the workers that you support as an HR operations specialist or business partner. That's what we're focusing on today. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a couple reports. So this is activity 1.5 for those of you following along in the activity guide. So we are going to go to the search bar, and again, I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to catch up if you're falling behind with these activities. And we have all the instructions here. But in the search bar, we're going to type in my supporting roles, and we're going to go run that report. So this is a good example, and now it's popping up. First time you can see over here, I have these different search to pull up different things. Again, it likes to pull up people. There's no people listed, but I can click on tasks and reports, and now I see my supporting roles. If I'm not seeing anything, I click on more categories, and that's going to give me more options as well. So that's what that's kind of referring to. You're searching, click on them. Okay, so let's run this report. So we'll click on my supporting roles. And then I have a lot because I was assigned at a very high organization of the people I'm going to support. So I have like 900. Hopefully you have a couple left, but you can see 3,200. You're 3,200. Oh, you have a lot. Okay, never mind. You guys probably have a lot because you're more central. Okay, that might be fine.
Nothing came up when I did my spelling. It was 3,200. Like that.
Nothing popped up. Tanya put into that, and she has the. You guys all have a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. This is like our central group. Other groups only have a couple. So you support all of campus, correct? Is that what this group does? Try it one more time. Okay, you support everyone. You have more than me. So you were assigned to support everyone at the top work. So like everyone's stuff is gonna try the other outside is work if it's related. Okay. So no need to dive deeper into that. You see a lot of people. Okay, the next one we're gonna run is the workers I support, and it's gonna be a lot of people, but let's type in something else and like change it. This might be helpful for you to know. You can kind of narrow this down, but if maybe someone reaches out to you, you can point them to these two reports to see who they support, what they support. Okay.
So you said when people come up, instead of what you typed in, go to tab and report. Oh, yes. there it is.
Yes, the people
Okay.
kind of filter it down. Birthday. Right, that's right hand. What is it for you guys? My left. Okay, so then in roles, you can narrow it down. So maybe if you want to see less people for you guys, you're going to go to my roles, and I can see my specific roles. I'm an HR business partner. I'm a primary recruiter. I can also go to my active roles. I have the same ones. If you're a manager, you might see it here, and you can select that. I'm going to select business partner so I can see who I support in that role, just those workers, and click OK. And then I have a lot of people. You guys might beat me actually.
I think it's right there.
So I did workers I support in the search bar, and then I filtered it down. You have to choose which role in this report. This is a good example. I selected past. And I did my roles, and then I selected HR business partner, or if you're an ops specialist. select that. But you can kind of play with it and select a different role to take a look. Hey, I'm gonna give you guys a couple minutes again. If you have any questions, let me know. Take a look at these reports, activities 1.4 through 1.7.
Yeah, like worker list, and then you click on tasks. Then it just whatever did my goals. And then you can just do the coordinator. And then you can- 24,000. This is what I did.
You did them all. Yeah, you can select them. So yeah, these reports might not be.
Yeah, mine are-
Yeah, with others, they're seeing, HR specialists.
These roles, that's really impacting, right? Like, those that have the HR analyst role, they can only see those people that are attached to them.
Yes, yes, and that's a good point. He's mentioning like the roles you're seeing, those are the roles you're assigned.
That's
Okay,
Yes.
so as a recruiting coordinator, I just switched it to that one. I still have the list.
Yeah, and so like that's why you're getting all of those post jobs. So like, is your role to like, have you usually in the past like posted everyone's jobs for them?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're the recruiting coordinator for everyone. You just see that like with any session we're doing, it's like getting routed to you guys. So like Catherine can post people's jobs for the job recs they create.
But like in the future, when, work, HR business partners, or like Chris, the specific areas that we serve. I wonder if we will still see everybody, or if we will see. Just the assigned, I guess.
Are you assigned like departments or?
Yeah. Yeah, so I wonder if.
You're not still seeing everyone when you select HR business partner.
Yeah.
These are also assigned to. So you're kind of assigned to everyone, but also department.
Well, we each have our own areas that we serve in campus, kind of like the recruiting office. I guess.
Support the collaborative, or is that gonna be just Carl?
I don't think that would be us.
Yeah, we'll have our groups that are unified. But I wonder if you have the ability or the access. to get collaborative.
I mean, according to this.
Yeah.
So.
Set up that way, so you can.
Yeah.
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 If it wasn't set up that way, you could.
Yeah, I guess it's more just a centralized.
Yeah.
Like a business partner.
Yeah.
Specific like area.
Okay, how are we doing? So we only have a few more minutes, or are we good to move on? Do like one more minute, then we'll move on.
She said that, yes, often we'll just bring up that because that's in here. You should always go on the condition works and get what you need. Oh, right, if ever random table come up like that, just know that.
For the reasons.
So we should spread that. It's not gonna happen. Situation and ask about like where they put the end date on the job, right?
For the posting.
Possibly they to be trained on, and they should have been trained. Is it in the title? You ask her, do they put the end date on the title? The job, right? Cool. What do they put? You may not be more yesterday or something. Did I? So it would just be like. If they don't use it, they don't want them back. So they're going. And those those animators. So where should you? How do you just get it? She mentioned the word yesterday that cloud units something over the time of the job record. What is this? That makes sense.
Okay. Let's go ahead and move forward, but again, you can catch up later. Okay, so our next topic that we're going to talk about is business processes. So business processes, these always have happened, but it just might feel different, or we're going to talk about it differently in Workday, so that's why we wanted to cover it. Business processes is just a sequence of one or more tasks that accomplish a desired business objective. So Workday's automatically going to route tasks to the responsible role, follow the business process. That's what it means when we say that. Only users with the appropriate security role can initiate a process. So like we talked about create position, you can't initiate creating a position if you don't have the right security. Once we create the position, it's going to get routed to the right person to approve it. There's condition rules to ensure the correct process occurs every time. So for example, next week, we're going to talk about the recruiting process. If someone applies who's not a member of the church, it's going to get routed immediately to the right person to interview before all the other steps happen. So there's condition rules. It's going to see they selected no when they applied externally, and then it's going to get routed again to like the right interviewer instead of the normal routes for the person who says they were a member. So there's condition rules for things like for staff, or faculty, depending on their employee type. So it's going to route correctly in the business process. So I'll give you an example, and then we can kind of talk about some questions. So this is a very simple one, an example, but request an absence. So an employee is going to go into Workday, they're going to request an absence. It's going to get routed to their manager to approve it. Their manager is going to approve it, and then the employee is going to receive a notification of the approval. That's a very simple business process. There's not a lot of approvals, but some have a lot of approvals. And so that's what you're going to see coming to your inbox. Collaborative units, they're going to create job requisitions, or people are going to create job recs like managers. It's going to be routed to you to post the jobs, and you'll post the jobs for them. So any questions about that? And then we'll talk about some actions we can take on business processes so we can send them back to people or move them forward. Any questions about the general overview of business processes? Okay, awesome. So you get something in your inbox and you're like, I don't know, I can't post this job. I don't have the information I need. I don't have maybe an attachment I need to post this. I don't know if that's a real life example or something that might happen, but you can send it back to that person. You can deny it. So you can move the business process in different ways. So the different ways we can approve it. So if we approve it, we click the orange approve button. Or the submit button, it's going to move it forward to the next person, and the business process will continue. If we hit send back, it's going to return the step back to the initiator or the person before you and pause the business process. It's going to require a comment from you, most likely, why you're sending it back to them. You can't just send it back to them without anything. So we use Workday Cognizant, so I get like maybe a spend authorization sent back to me. They say why you need to attach this document. You need to do this. You can deny it. So we have a use with caution. When you deny the step, it's going to cancel the entire business process. So if you want to cancel it, you can deny the business process, but it will cancel it. So just be aware of that. And then you can hit the cancel button though. And what that's going to do is you just want to come back to it. So you're going to exit that business process. You hit cancel. but it's gonna save it for you in my tasks inbox and you can come back. This may also look like a save for later. So if you're working on something, you're putting in that information, you can save it for later, cancel it, and it's gonna remain in your inbox for you to work on further, and before you move it forward or send it. Questions?
Are you saying that it will, when you say there, it may display as saved for later, does it actually display as that, or are you just saying the cancel blank can display or save?
Usually says save for later is what I see.
It depends on the
Yeah,
process.
it does depend.
So if it's something that you have to, like a performance review or something where you're entering data, typically Workday's pretty good about letting you save for later. But if it's just like an approval where there's nothing to save, you either need to approve it or not, cancel just keeps it in your inbox. Yeah.
It's like the same, yeah, same thing. But yeah, it'll save that information you entered in there.
But that was kind of my question is, I see 4 actions, but there's also entering information. At some point. So you're getting the task up, you're entering the information, and these are the results of that.
Yeah, these are the buttons on the bottom. So they're like, they'll always display on the bottom of the screen and where you can move it forward or move it back.
And are there any others besides these buttons? That's pretty much it.
Any others, Tanya? That's pretty much it. You'll see.
Nope, that's pretty much it.
So approve is kind of like enter, if you put in your data, now it's done and needs to go to the next process, next person in the process. Approve is like,
Yeah, press enter, submit. Yes, it's gonna be orange.
Every once in a while, and I don't know if there's any processes that you would see, but there are some where you can add approvers. Again, I don't know that there's any that you would need to be concerned with. This is more on the student side that I see that, but just be aware that in case that pops up, where you can add someone else to get the data to approve.
Workday's gonna keep it in your inbox. But you need to perform action on it. Gonna keep it there. Even if you fill in the wrong thing, you get a bunch of errors and you try to leave it, it's gonna like make it yellow. It needs to be moved forward by you. It's gonna be moved forward. I think another good call out is, and I'm using post job a lot because that's what we're doing today. So people are going to submit their job recs and they're gonna come to the recruiting coordinator. I'm assuming that's most people in this room. We're gonna post those jobs. You all are going to get all of them. So you all will get all of the inbox tasks to post. It'll say post job. Once one of you or the people with that security role completes it, it gets removed from everyone's inbox. So if Catherine goes in, posts the job, it removes from everyone's inbox because she completed it and moved it forward and posted the job. You'll no longer see it.
What if 2 people are working on it at the same time?
Yes, that's a great question. So yesterday we were working on it. It gives you an error. It like doesn't let you submit. Again, I don't know how like that coordination works with your department, like if you post which jobs or whatnot and how that gets routed, but it does give you an error and doesn't let you both submit it. It's kind of clever.
So the recruiting office is the one that will be posting jobs. So I guess so, and then, we all have like different roles, so are we all gonna receive? And since the workers I support thing is basically like everybody, so does that mean that all of us are gonna receive every item that?
I'm not sure people's roles in this.
Because I don't know how
We can look at it. If you're a recruiting coordinator, if you have that security role, you will get all the jobs.
Okay, but like we would.
If you don't have that role, that security role.
Okay, cool.
Thousands of thousands. Kathy, do you know if it's like routed differently? From my understanding, I don't know. All goes to their.
What's the question?
If they're like where they're gonna get a bunch of job recs to post thousands of jobs, they're all gonna get them. But if it's like broken down to by department.
So so this is something you'll just need to kind of talk through internally. If you're all attached to the same orgs, all of you will get all of them. And it just needs to be kind of an internal determination of, okay, well, I'm taking this group, I'm taking this group, I'm taking this group. And then once one person approves or posts or whatever, it removes from everybody's inbox. So even if you all get 1,000, you don't necessarily have to all do 1,000, right? You can split them up.
And that's what those lab sessions are for. for you to work through those like real life scenarios and talk about who's gonna do what, how it's gonna work, and kind of run some scenarios and tests. Create something and say, whose inbox does it go to, but who's handling this? That's
Yeah, I think that's one thing that we need to figure out because all the jobs are coming in to all of us and right now we're assigned by business partner. So it's really easy, but going forward, we're doing it by industry. So there could be IT jobs that she does for the library or for OIT or continuing ed, so we're going to have that responsibility to make sure that they're all selected and taken care of. Yes.
yes.
Question for you. In 10 and 11, did you add these roles, even though all the information updated here?
You should, I can't say it's.
Role itself would be allotted to me, right now what I'm seeing is.
Yes,
I wasn't-
I am at least in
I'm
there.
sure, did you
currently.
get that? Cause that would, did you get that?
I have
report
a
to run for
manager
her?
role, but in.
Yeah, it was just a work day weird.
She does, so
Yeah,
That is right.
you should have those roles, if you're seeing ops, so you
Mhm.
list. We can run the, like, we can run the report.
That's just get down here.
Can we run the code and see what she can. That's the nice support area, because I support, as you see them listed, or how do they see? I can't, I don't know.
Security is great.
Okay. Awesome, okay. Any other questions? Okay, so you're gonna see two notifications on top of errors versus alerts in Workday. Errors are gonna come through red. You cannot submit it until you resolve the error. It will not let you approve it, submit it until you resolve it. But I do hear on the PeopleSoft, Nisha was saying, she was like, read the errors. Sometimes you're like, what is this saying? But a lot of times it is a useful information to help you resolve the error. Fill in this field, fill in she was mentioning in PeopleSoft, they were very cryptic. You can understand it. So read the errors. I can't say always on that thing. They're very helpful. And then the alerts are orange. So this is just giving you like a notification. You can submit it and proceed forward, but it's just letting you know that the information entered is outside of the recommended range. For example, if a partner goes in and they put in pay that's outside of the range, it's going to give them this notification and this alert, but they can still submit it and push it forward if they have this. So you'll see the two differences, letting you know.
Does it get routed, they go above the pay grade?
I would have to look into that. And I don't know what their policy is, if they like can do that, but it gives them that alert for some people I've seen. I don't know if they're gonna need to switch them job profiles, they have their own. Okay, awesome. Any questions before we move on to employee types? Let's see, are we doing good? We'll take a break in a little bit. That's not good. Okay, let's do these slides and then let's do employee types and let's create our position. Okay, so we have, we're going to talk about kind of the classifications of employees. We have our time type, our worker type, and our worker subtype. So for time type, we have full-time or part-time. I know we were classifying like 3/4 time and all this stuff before. That'll just be part-time listed. They're all part-time staff is how they're classified, and they're all staff now. So that employee type, 3/4 time, they're all just referred to as staff. We don't see a distinction.
Will the system still show a distinction though on who's half-time?
It shows your FTE and it shows your weekly hours. Yep. So we are referring to them as staff. So when we go through the recruiting process, all staff is recruited the same, whether part-time, 3/4 time, full-time.
Oh, no, we're good.
We have our worker type. So that's defining if it's an employee or a contingent worker. And then we have our subtype. Let me just hop over to our next slide. So we have our worker subtypes. This is what I was talking about. We have faculty, staff, That's all of them. Staff is 3/4 time, part-time. We have student. We have fixed term contract, for example, continuing education. We have seasonal, such as FS1, sports camp, and then we have executive. So these are our different work subtypes that you're able to select. Remind me if I'm speaking correctly, there was like a lot more before, right? We kind of narrowed it down. That's a big change.
I think
Okay.
that's great.
Any questions about our subtypes? Okay. And then we have our worker subtypes for contingent workers. So you'll select employee or contingent worker. If you select employee, you get all of those previous options, staff, student. If you select contingent worker, these are some examples. The pre-approved individuals, but the big thing with contingent workers is they're not paid by BYU. They're paid outside. Yes.
Okay, so I'm with independent contractors right now, and like they are paid, so with Workday, are we gonna have to add them as contingent workers every time, because we don't have them in PeopleSoft?
Well, so are they, so like, we're independent contractors, right? We're definitely, BYU definitely pays for us, but we're not on your payroll.
Okay,
So we're still paid, we will be paid out of Workday Finance,
So-
out of contract.
I'm gonna be adding them as,
Yes, if they need any kind of access.
okay,
Yeah.
Only if they need us,
Access to system or buildings, if they need a net ID.
like they would be in a conference. Doing that.
Yeah. They need.
Yeah, we're gonna get rid of them, yeah. Yeah. Terrible.
But yeah, they need building access, computer program access, access to Workday, things like that. And then these are some of the examples of different contingent workers subtypes. Awesome. Any other questions about contingent workers?
That's not an exhaustive list.
I don't think
Okay.
so. Is that the whole list? Is that
Um,
exhaustive list?
For contingent workers,
Mhm.
I
For
think it is.
BYU.
I can check. I think it is.
Well, like, non-paid internships, but that's all in volunteers.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mish kind of, I know this was the slide she looked at, so this might be like a broader classification they have in Workday. We can look into that, but people have to pull up a list of workers sometimes. Right. Let's move on to job architecture. Okay, so let's talk about the job catalog. So we have a couple of things that group our jobs together, help us classify them. So we have our job family group, our job family, and then our job profile. We're gonna look at an example of this. But this basically classifies our different job profiles. So we have our job family group, that's a collection of job families. Then we have our job family group of related job profiles. And then we have our job profile itself. And then this leads into our positions. So job profiles are attached to our position. Basically, all we need to know here for now is just like, this is our grouping. So you can look up different job profiles in their job family group. So let's hop into an example of that. So you can see we have our job family group. Faculty, our job family would maybe be faculty, professorial, and then our job profile would be the specific job profile that we select, but there's multiple in that job family. For student workers, this is like a common one that you're gonna see. We have our job family group, student workers, job family, student worker, and then our job profiles are gonna be student worker 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think it might go up to 6. And so that's going to classify the job profiles that we attach to our positions for our student workers. I think for other areas, like for staff, there's a lot more job profiles, but for students, there's just a handful that we have that are created to simplify it, because there's a ton of student workers.
I think it's based on the ranges.
Yes. For which ones? Yeah, so student worker is basically just the pay range, so it's like student worker 1 has this pay range, and then the next one is going to be 9 to 10, or 12 or whatever, 12 to 15. So makes it quite easy. So you'll have different job profiles for student workers to define the marriage.
Marriage standards. Data, we have jobs.
Just for students.
Pay range will be attached to all of the job profiles.
Pay range.
Yeah.
Yes, so it'll be like the compensation grade. And then that is typically associated with a range. And typically you see like a min, mid, and max.
And then the concrete profile is kind of what defines that number as well.
And it looks like the position is the only way you'll differentiate between all the students lumped in one massive job profile.
Exactly.
Yes, so their like job title will not be student work one, it'll be something specific. You'll change their business title, job title, custodial worker, dining services, but their job profiles, you'll see a lot of them will have student worker 1, 2, or 3. And then I think they have something like T as well, right? Awesome. We'll look at this in our job rec and how to change the job title. And different things. Okay, we have a knowledge check. So, what elements are included on the job profile compared to what elements are included on the worker profile? We can just call them out. Does anyone know what elements are included on the job profile? I can't think of it. Here, I'll give you one. Let me give you, okay. On the job profile, one would be management level. Anything else? Yep.
A level.
Pay rate, pay range, yep. Location, yeah, location's on the job profile. Nope.
Nope, location
Nope,
would be on the position.
person. Yep, on the position. Okay, anything for on the worker profile? Your picture. Your picture. This is a little easier.
Yeah.
What else is attached to the worker profile? Work history. Compensation history. Yep, awesome. Yep, personal contact info. Awesome. I know it's hard to pull those out of your head, remember them. Okay, we talked about this slide. We also talked about this. Okay, so this slide we talked about those open positions. This was for describing, where those positions are going to come from. We're about to create a position though. So pause me if there's any more questions. This is the kind of request a position we talked about. So basically those new positions aren't going to be available until they're approved by BYU hiring offices. All right. Let's quickly talk about editing, freezing, and closing a position. So just quick kind of high level, you can edit the position attributes, the job profile, worker type, location, etc., all that. We can freeze the position. So we can freeze it. It's not available to fill, but the head count still remains. So we can freeze that position. And we can also close positions. So you can remove that position from head count, but when we close positions, we permanently close the position. Okay. So from my understanding, I don't know if this group will be ones closing positions or not, but from my understanding, we advise people not to close positions. We tell most people, do not close the position. When you terminate someone, there's a little checkbox that says close the position. We don't want to do that. It's frozen now, so you can't, but certain people have security who can close the position. So yeah, when you close the position, it's permanently gone. So instead, you'd want to maybe freeze the position instead of closing it.
So if we do have people who mistakenly do that, they have to recreate it or repost it or.
I don't see like most people, because like managers can initiate terminations and things like that. It's now like not available to them. So they can't check that box to close the position.
Okay.
If someone with the right security did.
Like our office we would screw that up, right? What if we screw that up is what I'm asking.
Yeah, if,
Because
I
that,
don't know if
that's a
that's
very
what
common
people-
thing that we do now. It's gonna take some
training.
brain power to not do that.
She's asking me, if they close the positions, is there another approval? Let me list. We're gonna, there's another approval step so we can catch maybe mistakes, but if there is an approval step, another approval step, it will close it and you'll have to.
Okay, so you can recreate it.
Yeah, you just have to create a new position and it have to get approved and you have to have all those attributes to it.
So if it is created by a HR business partner, it'll route to the BYU hiring offices for approval. If it's closed by a business partner.
Oh, so if the business partner closes it, we'll still have to say no. We could say, no, don't. What if we close it?
You guys close
It's
it.
just gone.
You close it.
You're all powerful.
Yeah, I think if you.
That's
close
what
it,
I'm
you close
saying.
it.
With great power comes great responsibility.
So, but if we close it and it came from a business partner, we just recreate it or does the business
So
partner
you
have
guys
to
are the,
recreate it?
You can create a new position. It just,
Try
you
to
have a
do
new
this.
position number and you just create it from scratch.
New position
The hiring-
history.
just at the hiring office.
So you can, and we're about to create them. You can create positions again, but then you have to like.
You
From
said-
my understanding, you guys don't want to be closing them. Like you
Okay.
want to leave them open. I think it's for like just special uses. No longer, no one's gonna fill this position.
Yeah.
We're
It's like a
gonna close it.
department
No
that's going away or
department's
something,
going
like,
away.
yeah.
They added
It's not
do
just
not,
Right.
I know, I have got that request from Mullen stuff to add help text there.
Could we change
How is
the
it not on
text to be like
For, like,
delete position or something? Kill position?
Unfortunately,
We
no.
can, yeah, it's working delivered, you can't change that. I have gotten that comment a couple of times from COE sessions, like help text would be nice. And it was because at first, like anyone could click the close position button and it would get approved, but now they've frozen it, like you cannot edit it. So that's a good change, but you guys still can. And so we can
Okay.
definitely mention, like, we've had multiple people ask for help text or basically like, do not close positions. We'll take a look at, well, we're not doing a term. When we do term, we'll take a look at what it looks like in purpose. Okay, so we are gonna create a position and then we're gonna take a break. With most of the other sessions, we aren't creating positions, we've created them for them. But with you guys, since you guys can create positions, it's gonna be a little trial and error. So we'll see how it goes, see if we have this, everyone has the right security to do it. Everyone needs their own position though, and it has to be a staff position. So there isn't an activity guide for this, so I'm gonna walk through it slowly. If you have questions, Tanya's here to help. If you can't create a position, we're gonna create one for you. But this just makes it a little bit easier for us, and it also gives you practice creating a position, so. We're
Do you
gonna
want me to create a position or do you want me to?
Okay. Alrighty, so, yep, so follow along with me, as we go ahead and create this. I will go through it slowly and then we will take a break. And we'll get those all figured out if there's anything not working. Okay. In the search bar, I'm gonna look for create position. Has anyone done this in their COE sessions? Who's done that?
Yeah, I did it and now I don't have access to it.
Do it.
My access just keeps changing.
What COE session were you in?
I was in conversation.
Yeah, with me, yeah, we did go add some things. Okay, are you guys seeing this task and report?
Yeah.
So click on tasks and reports if you're not seeing it.
No, wait, I just typed in create job.
Do create, yeah, position, so just cancel
Oh, okay.
that. Have one, can you find it?
Yeah,
Either. Are you guys seeing it?
Yeah.
What is the? Are you all seeing it right here?
I mean, right now.
Oh,
Okay.
No, that's, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
My compensation.
So if you.
Oh, yeah.
If this is something you all need to do, let us know. Is this something?
I
I mean, they're gonna create a whole bunch of things.
Is this part of this, or are you? I'm in that.
You all see it?
I mean.
Okay.
Maybe you need to.
So
Out
you
in
two,
your office or something.
David.
and you also can.
I
Oh.
Hey, with no worries.
We don't pay.
We'll work on it. We're gonna create one for you and then it's gonna be there for you. Are you guys managers?
Yeah, let's just go to my supporting roles.
Yeah.
Director. Click on it, works profile.
Go to the search bar.
And go view the org chart and let's see if you have any person in your view. Profile. And then team.
At least we don't.
Okay, you don't have anyone.
Because they were.
Oh, yeah, this is old stuff. It's old.
Anybody else can't create?
You don't have.
Can't create a position?
I know.
Okay.
Okay, so in these two, and they also don't have, they're not managers, so just run the report.
Well, can you just go to
But we're gonna take a break.
my supporting role? Like that in the search.
Okay. I'm gonna move forward. Feel free to just watch in case, yeah, you guys might get the security. And then, yeah, we'll take a break and we'll get those other positions for you.
We're doing my
We can do it again. Okay, so you'll click on this blue link. I forgot to mention, if it's blue, you can click on it. Take action on it, so. See, that's what Tanya says, yes, click on it. I'll wait till Tanya does the rest of that. Never mind.
Yeah,
When
I
I'm gonna
think
get rid of this. Just so people. Okay, anything else? You not create one as well.
We wait for you.
Yeah, wait for me one time. I'll just make sure so we don't. Okay. Just so. It's pretty fast.
Go to, just go back to my supporting role.
Create.
There we go. I'm looking for a manager to support, so I'll go ahead and create one for you. Anybody else?
Okay, let's do this really fast because we might have to do some workarounds. I want you to type your own name into the search bar. If your own name's not popping up, then raise your hand. We're gonna do one more thing. So I'm gonna type in my manager though.
So if it says supervisory organization, it should say my name.
So we're gonna create a position under ourselves, an open position, sitting beneath us. Like they're our direct reports. That's just gonna be the easiest way to find it. Yes, if yours is not pulling up, then I want you to go to, you can probably do any org. I want you to think of a manager, so you can like look in the org chart, pull up those reports are a lot of people though. But we basically just need you as an HR business partner to find a super board you support. Find someone you'll be able to like remember, locate. You're creating an open position under a manager.
So if I popped up, click on people, do I just click on my name?
I think I know. Oh, so this is on create position. Yep. So we'll have to she'll make one for you. So just watch if you can create a position.
Okay.
Yep. So basically what this means is you're already a manager at Workday. If you're not a manager, we can't create a position underneath you. That's a different process to just make someone a manager. So anyone else, is everyone good here? It's just easiest to create it under ourselves. You found a manager?
I found the organization.
Awesome. And you can even use like, buddies next to you, their name. Okay. It should work fine. Just remember, let's just remember where this position's gonna sit. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and click OK. All right, so this is our create position screen. It's pretty simple. So we're gonna put in our job posting title. Let's title this something we're gonna remember. So it can be training with our initials. It can be your dog's name. It can just be something you remember. This is gonna be the title of the position. So I'm gonna type in my initials. We need to put in a position request reason. This is for reporting. I skipped this one, so we'll go back. So we have create position budgeted, conversion, new position, or temporary position. the new position today. So we're gonna go ahead and click new position. We can create a bunch of positions. I'm gonna do one today, but you can create 5, 10. So if you wanted 10 student workers under someone, you can create a bunch. Our availability date. We're gonna select yesterday's date just to be safe. So we can create a job rec for it today. This is the date that the position's available for, and then I also filled in earliest hire date. We don't want to select a future date for earliest hire date. That's going to cause problems if you want to hire someone to the position for that date. So I always just recommend select today's date or backdating it though. And then you can select a job family if you want to narrow it down, but I know the job profile we're going to use today. So we're going to use training assistant 1. So I'm just going to type in training, and I'm going to select training assistant 1. I can get some information about this job profile here. This job family is training. It's grade 46. It has some competencies as well. So we're all going to select training assistant 1. This is where you would select your job profile for the position though. You can enter a job description summary and a position description here. Yeah, pause me if anyone's. We're gonna leave those blank for today, but you would fill those in with the information you needed.
What's the difference between the job description and
Tanya, do you know how they're using the difference between the job description summary and position description?
So isn't it kind of what we talked about yesterday, how it's the job ad? It's what's gonna show out. No, we're not gonna
Well-
use exactly the job description,
Yeah, I don't,
the job ad.
and that's for
template.
job rec.
Well, this is for position, not,
Yeah.
Position.
this would be like the job description, right?
I don't know exactly how we want to use position descriptions, but we can ask Mish. Let's write that down.
I think the job description summary is just a little blur, and the description would be the big overall.
Okay, we need to enter a location. You can enter any location that you would like. I'm gonna enter Crabtree. We need to enter a time type. Okay, so this is where we're all gonna select for sure the same thing, full-time. We want our position to be full-time. We're gonna select our worker type. So this is what I was talking about. You select employee or contingent here. I'm gonna select employee. Once I select employee, worker subtype pops up. And this is where I select if it's a student, staff. So I'm just gonna say for current country, executive. We're all selecting staff. This is important. We need staff positions because next week in recruiting, we're following staff, even though we're going to demo faculty and student and whatnot, we're all going to follow staff in our activity guides.
So the subtype is staff.
The subtype is staff.
You type it in.
You can do for current country or all worker types and the list should pop up, but you can also type in staff. Since I'm going to leave my default weekly hours as 40 because they're full time, my FTE is 100%. If this was part-time, I can change this. You don't have to follow along. So you don't have to go back and change it. If I changed it to 40, it's giving me this alert, like you said this was part-time, update the FTE. It's because I need to change my scheduled weekly hours. Let's say it's gonna be 20 hours a week. Now it's gonna be 50%, so it gives you that alert. That's good. But let's all leave it full-time, 3 hours. Okay. Awesome. That's all we're gonna fill in today. Pretty simple. Any questions about creating a position?
What would be considered a critical job?
Yeah, there's critical job and need to fill. Tanya, are you aware if they're using those?
No, we gotta.
I don't think you're using those.
They weren't, but
I don't know if that's an issue.
Well, I mean, the difficulty to fill, is that an option you can request of us?
That's
To
prob-
alert us?
That's probably just a reporting option. But yeah, let's mark that down. And we'll ask Nish.
That could be helpful. And
Or
if you mind looking for overlap, would that just be a student job? Or they can have more than one job?
That's like now where we recruit over positions, it's, right, that's the overlap where
Maybe
for
you've got
training,
someone
someone's
retiring.
leaving, yeah.
Right.
And you
Yeah.
probably want
The
to check that.
difficult one, like if you look at the description, it says job takes longer than 1 year to fill.
Longer than how long?
1 year to fill.
That's
typical
difficult.
months. That's what it said in the
Oh.
description.
That would be
Very easy, like,
For the sake of today's demo, we're not gonna fill any of that in. It won't affect it, but yeah, that's kind of reporting options. But yeah. Awesome. Okay, let's go ahead and make sure it's staff and then go ahead and click submit. And then I want you guys to see where it's routed to. Oh, we gotta do a couple more things. Sorry. I'm too excited to move forward. Okay, we're gonna open this next inbox task. We need to add a couple more things. We need to add our change organization assignments. We've seen this a lot. Okay, so we need to go add our company, our cost center, and our hiring office in here. There's other options, but that's what we're gonna fill in. So for our company, we're gonna put in BYU. Let's see. We can see our different company selections though, but you can see that a lot of them are like FSY, Jerusalem Center. So most of the time you're gonna be using BYU. Our cost center, I'm going to just use a general cost center. You can use that one. You can use a cost center that maybe you think you were going to use in the future, but I'm just going to use the cost center general and administrative.
What if the normal BYU doesn't come up on? Never mind, that looks.
Like it should. Okay, so when I put in my cost center, then my program and fund fill in, they're connected to the cost center. If we go in and change those to something that's not connected to the cost center, we're gonna get some errors. It's not gonna let you move forward if you change your program and fund. So they're working, they're tied together, so don't change those. And then we need to go add our hiring office. This one's super important. It's gonna help things route so we can select staff, student, faculty, or continuing ed. This is staff, so we're gonna go ahead and select staff.
For the staff and student are the same, why are they different right there?
Are they is it the same people?
It's us, yeah, we get staff and student.
Sure, right, they're different. If the approvers are the same, it must just be the way this.
Maybe because if it's student and they only see the option of staff, they would know it's select, but it'll still be
It's still out.
us. Okay.
Should route correctly.
Yes. Good.
Okay, we're gonna go ahead and click submit. Any questions before we click submit? And then we're gonna open this one. We have one more. This is our requesting default compensation. So this is kind of what we were looking at. We can see our total base pay range from the job profile we selected. So we see that middle number 19 because we selected the same job profile. We can see our comp package, our grade, and our grade profile. Okay, so some of you, if you've been in my comp sessions, you're always like, wait, I want to edit the total base pay. I can't edit it here. I know. And you have to scroll down and then you're going to add it in the hourly or the salary boxes down here. Okay, so if it's salary, the range is salary, then you're gonna add it there. If it's an hourly plan, you're gonna add it in hourly. So you can add a salary plan, but we're gonna stick to what the range says. So we're gonna click the edit icon. And then we're gonna enter that amount, enter something within the range. We can see the currency and the frequency here, and I'm gonna click the save icon. When you're creating this position and again, this might be comp partners, we can change things like allowance and merit. For now, we're leaving it all the same. Sorry, I'm scrolling over on the screen. Now you can see our total base pay is updated notice. That's where it fills in. You can't edit it from there. You have to go down every time. Oh.
Since our positions will have a range and the actual base pay will depend on the person's experience and qualifications, do we have to put base pay here or can we leave that blank, just have the range?
I am pretty sure you have to fill it in. We can test it though. Let's look. I am like
Well,
99.
could you do like 15 to 19?
You have to put in a number.
I'm pretty sure we tested this out, like you could leave it blank.
You can leave it blank or you can't. Yeah, I'm like 9. You can't
But you
leave it.
can always go back and change it.
Yeah, you can go back and change it later. So I just deleted it. So now I have nothing.
But so it'll be posting at an hourly amount already in place.
With what?
I guess this is a job reference.
Yeah, we're just creating a position. Okay, I pushed mine through. I know I started. We'll see how this next time. Okay, put in a number though, in the range. Okay, it did let me push it through,
Without the, okay.
so I'm not sure. You'll have to talk about something also I should do. I just say approved. Yep, and then we're gonna go, so did you guys get this up next? Once you push it through, does it say up next?
No, I got an error.
You got an error? Is it the say complete, successful?
Okay.
Awesome. So after you create it, it's created. There's no more rules. I'm a business partner. It needs an approval.
So it doesn't matter.
If it just says.
Anyone?
I'll go approve yours.
Okay, go ahead and create it.
I just clicked, I just X on the hour thing.
Would there ever be a case when we would create a position? Wouldn't it just be the partner to see how many?
Okay, so for those of you.
But I would.
Oh, look at that.
I would
Okay, so
give
people
my
working with
job
hiring
to
officers, reading inbox items,
To.
and you'll go approve them for it.
Oh, sorry, I was approving some of them.
Okay, she's approving them. Okay, awesome. We'll get those approved. Go look for your position now. Go see if it exists in your org chart. Did you approve mine? Okay, so let's go do that and then we're gonna take a break. Actually, I'm gonna give you one activity to do during your break and we'll take like a pretty long break here. So let's go view our position. So I created mine in my org. So I'm just gonna go to my org chart. This is how I like to find it. I'm looking for an open position, the one I called with my initials. If I'm not seeing it, I can click show more. Here it is, HRBP training with my initials LM. It's open. I'm gonna click on it and then I can view the position details here. Okay, so we're gonna take, what do you think, like 15 minutes? So we can approve, like a 15-minute break. And in that break, make sure we can find your position. It exists. If you're not finding it, holler at us, we're gonna fix it. And then you can do activity 1.9, it's really fast. All you're gonna do is look at those position details. You can view some things like the soup org, you can view, there's not gonna be any open requisitions, but you can take a look at it, take a look at your position, make sure it's what you created. You can take a look at our hiring restrictions and things like that. That's all the info we put in, but since we created it, you already know this. Yeah.
Those all the positions that are open in all of them, but in your work, you're gonna see all the positions, any positions that are available to be filled.
You can get rid of them though, if you don't want to see them in the org chart, you can filter down, say, don't want to see open positions. But if you have that filter off, you'll see them all. Okay. Yeah. Any other questions?
So. I just clicked.
Okay, for those that I created for this.
This is where you'll just go to your inbox. And then, yeah, we're gonna get it. Let me search for the search. And then go to I search. No, so go ahead. Progress will have a
In that search analysis, it would make
Okay, so just need to be approved, and then you should go. When you're in this, where you can see it's.
Some training. So I think transition process, so just make sure, you know, one is in use 7.3, one is 7.4.
Yeah, this number, this is what I need to make sure.
So you can search that search bar.
YR, what's approved.
Jay was Joan Rack.
Marvin Flag.
Okay, position, syndrome.
I would just search.
No,
post
it is
POS.
Michelle Moore.
Right now,
Although you could use that one, so
It's not
I
approved.
made you the
It's not
training coordinator. Yep. Oh, he's got a lot.
Okay, we'll come back and.
You can use any of them, really. All right, and then.
this would be the
Right, cool.
hiring.
So, yes.
Well, it's. Well, no.
So.
I don't know.
Quick,
I'm sorry.
task. What was it called?
We're gonna get.
Okay, I'll go, I'm gonna go see it. There's me. That's how you.
All right, so now let's scroll down. I'm gonna see your big page.
Okay,
And then who else? Jeremy Young, is that yours?
Yes.
Okay.
who did it,
It just is, oh, there we go.
if you go back to
It's crazy. Let's go ahead and look at Jeremy Young.
So,
I'm gonna just type his name as an alternate.
just he because of.
None of them are.
Jared.
Go down and. I'll, yep, then we'll go to the orange. And that's your vacant position on training.
Do we find them all?
I think so, yeah.
Okay, then now we're supposed to, using that.
You can do 1.9 and just kind of run through it. We're just looking at our position details. We've talked about this and we created one, so. Yes. Okay, I just approved it, so go see if it's there.
You see the supervisor that she had 800. That is your beginning. Make sure you get 100. She's your plus file and then organization. She may be underneath. Just. Yeah. So I'm gonna create this position. Here it's. So I'm gonna.
Oh, so they're pretty good in.
Restrictions for the name.
That is just never had a situation where I think contract.
My availability. It's like, it's fine. But the idea is being, you can see the field she was just building down here.
Okay.
Then you click on down and work on this.
To go on, I think it might be part of their description. Is that the right description?
Oh, this other stuff is where is the chair sitting.
I'm thinking it's chair. I don't.
Yeah, it was pretty, so.
So I don't think there's gonna be a situation where we.
Yeah.
And if someone were to call us, we would refer them to either. That way.
Because
Yeah, the other thing is like, when people example like, or you get, their contract.
And if it's collaborative, then it's send them back to themselves.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Please do. No, because.
So I'm like, if you're I know. Yeah, I was like. I was expecting you to watch because that's what was happening, is like this. I went to my place and it went through her spot. Oh, she's happy. I need to go. Yeah, it's all God. And so like my mom was driving on the street, let's go. And the side was saying, yeah, there's a lot of
That's the other thing.
like that's how I thought it was her house. I had experience in that.
Well, because she was on this, on the second piece of paper. So that'll be nice.
They'll have to take some time.
My.
Like, there's like, $90 in the morning, you're like, I have something. What?
Then it's like.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a nice treasure. My sister-in-law.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Oh, how's it?
I don't know, like, I get a curly for like,
Stuff is in places she serves. Wow.
That's
It's terrible that
Actually, all of them, I think. We're gonna.
Right.
So, yeah, it was kind of like for sister. And it's that.
So that's like, I sure just. We go.
Well, I'm but I'm gaining is the bigger thing that I was. And I think. You know, I've been out there, like, I love working with that, it makes sense. Because when you're like a student, there's so, that's a nice. And so there's. Creative traditions.
She makes all of this.
So, yeah.
A lot of the. Have all this.
Right.
So I got out. Yes. You can see that it's a sign. That is recruiting. I didn't give out. It was. Father, I was so. That's the other.
Well,
Yes.
that does have this.
She was annoyed. I was like, sitting there and I was like, yeah, she looks like, let me give her. Let me show her that. There are shops that like. Like those like, so what happens? Real to make girls clear of that. You know, you need to search for medicine. It's like conversation.
It's like, also.
We're not saying.
That's the only area that I was just trying to get a little bit there.
There were.
The other. That's all, if we don't get that.
If I get all of it, so unified. All unified.
I mean.
But.
That's my friend.
You just jump over around, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was. You want that hour, except. That's what it's been. It's convenience. It's the process. I'm not gonna put that, but I'll put it if I was going to. Not mine. Yeah. The 2 hour. I just want to say that it's so. It was. Like on it. Petition for. I'll look at that for pictures. We can show that we see it. I answered anything.
Asked him a couple.
This group's all water CE people. This is where they go.
Well, these are mostly COE.
Well, CE people are also COEs in a different flavor, right?
For all job recs, for all job recs, you're asking for staff. Job admin assistant dash 1231.
There you go. It's in the title.
recruiting CFP will then add that date posting and then remove it from the title.
And they'll add that in data.
What was the other one you just posted? But there's probably a way, for recruiting and trying to record. Just internalize the comment. It's awesome. Let's do that.
That's what I would
And make
say.
sure that-
We'll have those that can post jobs. We'll have them walk through posting jobs themselves. Sessions. The questions are about the positions
Okay.
and that information I kind of asked. So it's just reporting. We can add it, we can't, but.
Not that,
Hard to fill in.
critical to fill, yeah.
I don't know, we don't have that right now, so it's kind of like, we should probably figure out where and how we want to use that. I mean, just do one thing, so we have a prioritized figuring out a standard.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I think that goes to
Yeah, it's really.
COE stuff.
Really, yeah, really drives.
It doesn't drive anything, it's, if I'm recruiting for it, or if I'm doing staffing, so that's not, this is really hard to fill. And it's the same thing, kind of ties into the center. That's your position, right, kind of piece. Because then you also have like the succession planning, like, is this person like a risk of leaving or
Yes.
not? And then kind of all ties into that, right? Because if I'm gonna say, this position's hard to fill, and it looks like they're likely to leave, like, that's a problem, and how can I keep them? My strategy on how I support that person can be different than, oh, this is easy to fill, but we know they're gonna leave, but I don't really care. I mean,
Yeah.
This is over at I was thinking about over at new. You're gonna get free, but it's over at 12. Can you check? I'm logged out of it.
No, it should, yeah, they all should be for.
Awesome.
Although I'm sure they'll love to do that.
Yeah, we'll try to end.
Yeah,
exactly. Hey, awesome. Let's get going again. All righty, are you ready to get started?
say hi really quick.
Talk to Rob to say hi to the.
My name's Rob. I've been involved in Workday for a long time, but just was popping in to come on and see how everyone's doing. These guys are phenomenal, so we're glad you're in such good hands.
Did you bring me to help me?
Here.
Just kidding.
You brought chocolate yesterday.
I-
Right, yeah, one job.
Well, you guys will go back to the Crabtree, I think, in another week.
Okay.
I think it was just this week you're over here, right? Or is this on every week?
It's just depending.
So I do have some keys in my desk, so if you come to a session in the Crabtree, feel free to come to me here, I'll bring it to you. Or Catherine will.
Yeah, maybe I should.
Maybe I'll give you some of my candy that we distribute, so. But you guys are in great hands, we'll try to pop in and answer questions and stuff when they have, I know there's been some just happening online, but we're so grateful that you guys are here and we're in Workday and we're excited for what's ahead.
So I thought I heard you say this was going on beyond 5 weeks,
Yeah.
because I only have 2 weeks worth of.
So 2 are recruiting.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna try to turn it over to Marcy.
Hallelujah. Okay.
5 weeks.
I'm dying.
Yes.
Welcome to cover
We're
5
getting,
weeks of
yeah,
life.
there'll be other topics that'll be covered, but they are less touch
Relevant.
points on recruiting.
Okay.
So we had invited Catherine to come for our recruiting, she's the manager of the recruiting DOE. New term here for some people, but the recruiting team that's in the ASB, so all of your job postings and all of your recruiting questions get funneled to her team. So several of them are here, so it's exciting. Anyways, thank you for your time. I know this is a lot of time to dedicate. It's valuable. Workday, right? A lot.
Thanks, Rob, for stopping by. Okay, let's keep moving forward. So everyone has their position. You were able to kind of look at your position details. Awesome. Okay, we are moving forward. We're just gonna do a quick recruiting overview and then we're gonna talk about job requisitions. Just so we can see where we are at in the process. So we talked a lot about job profiles. We talked about positions and we created a position or we had some created for you. Now we're gonna talk about our job requisition. So our job requisition is next. That's our request to fill the seat. And then our job will get posted, and then we're gonna talk about hire a lot next week, but we're gonna go through our job posting and then hire is all next week and then onboarding. So that's kind of where we're at. Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about job requisitions. So job requisitions, they can be thought of as the request to fill that seat. And it's necessary to recruit candidates. So if we want to recruit candidates, we need to create a job rec for it. Now, I know we've had a lot of questions in last sessions, but like, I don't want to post a job for a student. I know which student I want to hire. You don't need to create a job rec. We can direct hire students. Special cases, we can also direct hire if we know who's going to fill. It's like, I think they're small cases. You don't need to make things that aren't posted publicly for people to fill, but most jobs for staff, faculty, all that is going to get posted. And we need to create a job requisition for it. Yes.
So all student employers need to have a position. So what they're working on basically will include creating student positions
There's going to be
for all 17,000.
yes.
But they don't have to have requisitions for students.
No, but they can. Like we want to post it. We'll talk about our career sites. There's just an internal one for students. We want to post that job because we need someone to fill it. Then we create a job rec. So if we want to recruit and we want to get someone to apply to our job, we have to fill out a job requisition. Direct hire students is mostly for those like the professor knows the student that's going to be their TA. They can skip past this and just directly hires.
So there really isn't very many cases where you wouldn't have a job requisition for a student because most of the time they're going to want to recruit. They're going to put a job post together.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think some people were like, wait, we have to post all our student jobs. We're like, yeah, you can just fill the seat. But most of the time we're going to create a job requisition for them. Okay, who can create job requisitions? You can create job requisitions. A manager can create a job requisition requesting to fill that seat. They have an open position. They need a new student employee, so they create a job requisition. The job requisition is routed to the recruiting coordinator to be posted. Am I missing? Ops, business partners, managers can create job requisitions.
So the whole recruiting COE.
Yeah, recruiting COE. Any questions about job recs? Yeah. We're gonna move on. Okay,
So the Ops Center, unified and collaborative will all be.
nice. So all the other sessions that are going on, they're creating job recs. And then, yep. They aren't posting the jobs though. They come to a central group to post them. Okay, let's talk about the types of job requisitions really fast. So we have the job requisition, and that's hiring for one specific position. Oh, and perfect, we have who can create. That's what we talked about. But we also have evergreen requisitions. So these are going to be for high volume positions, high turnover, frequent hiring, those dining positions, those student positions. We can create evergreen requisitions, and those people who can create them are the recruiter and the recruiting admins. So that might be some of you in this room. Yes.
So that last one where it says multiple positions to fill, sometimes in the job recs, we have, maybe 8 positions to fill or 6. It's not 100, and it's not necessarily frequent hiring. It's once a year, they have to hire these 8 positions. Would that be an evergreen or a job rec?
I would say that's probably a job rec, but that's something you guys can decide internally.
Okay.
For evergreen, it's just going to be like a constant, steady pipeline of hiring new candidates to fill open positions for these. Not a job rec. There's always going to be, so they don't put a new job rec in every time they need to run the systems. Yeah, FSYs.
So you can think of evergreens as it is simply a tool to recruit candidates. You actually still have an individual job requisition to hire candidates. So for evergreens, it's your posting, it's out there, it's for, you know, I don't know, English 101 adjunct, right? You probably need 100 of them and they probably turn over a lot, right? That might not be a great example, but just a job that you are constantly hiring for. So you have a huge pool of candidates. That way you can immediately go, oh, we need a new one. We're going to move this candidate from this evergreen. We're going to put it on this hiring rec and then hire it into this org. So it allows you to recruit for many different organizations across the university and then individually take a candidate, attach it to that specific job rec that has the position, and then hire them. So it's not a hiring tool, it's a candidate recruiting tool.
Yeah, I think another good example would be the groundwork. Use this one. Awesome. Okay. So let's talk about the process of creating a job requisition. And we are going to walk through this, and you're all going to create your own job rec in a minute. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to search for create job rec in the search bar. We can also do this off related actions though. We are going to select the supervisory organization. So we're going to select the supervisory organization for the job rec. We're going to add recruiting information, a recruiting start date, a target hire date. We're going to review all of those job details that come over, review our organizations, and then we're going to assign a role. So we're going to walk through all of this. The big one I want to call it is we're going to assign a role on the job rec for the guest recruiter or the primary recruiter. That's going to be the person linked to this job rec who helps manage it. For today, we're going to assign ourselves, but if a manager is creating a job rec, they can assign their ops specialist. They have visibility into this job rec, to the candidates, and everything like that. Any questions? Awesome. We're going to walk through it, and you'll see all of this. Okay, so really quick, we're just going to talk about hiring restrictions. So these are going to help define rules and conditions for holding a job in an organization. So basically, they're just going to enable us to limit staffing to specific job families and job profiles, restrict the locations where a job or position can be filled, define the required qualifications. So we talked about this experience and skill levels, and then limit staffing for a job or position to a specific worker type or time type. So we're able to put hiring restrictions in our job rec. We want it to be student, position, all of the other things. So we are able to hire. We need to fill the position. Okay, let's jump into it. Let's create a job rec. Okay, this one I'm gonna demo. You're gonna watch, and then I'm gonna have you guys do it on your own. Does that sound good? So we can come around and help you. Okay, so I'm gonna demo only. Just watch me. And then you are going to go in and do it yourself. Share with. Okay. So I'm logged in as Harper HR, our fictitious training employee. So I'm going to go find that open position that we created. So I know it's sitting in my org. I found it earlier. So I'm going to go, I just like to navigate it to from team. You can search for it in the search bar if you know what the position is called. Okay, so I am going to initiate this job rec off of the related actions. So I'm going to go over to my open position. I know it's mine. It's got my initials by it. This is the position I want to create a job rec for. I'm going to go to my related actions button, and I'm going to click on it. And then I'm going to go down to job change. I'm hovering over job change, and I'm going to search or click create job requisition. Okay. I can also do this from the search bar. And then I would type in, we saw this on the other slide, the manager's name, and I'll show you all the open positions we can create a job rec. So I could have typed create job rec, search for Max Manager, my manager, and I would have seen this open position sitting there. I just navigated it from the work chart. So there's two different ways.
So you're at the manager, because that's the way I had to go in.
Yes.
So, I can see the position.
Yes, so now you just need to go to the create job requisition tab. Actually pull it into your job.
I'll send Emily it right now though. That will come around and help too, if I'm kind of speeding.
Oh, sorry. I thought you were.
No, you're fine. My worker type is gonna say employee. I can copy details from an existing requisition, but I'm not going to today. So I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. Quick call out. You guys will all be using create job requisition. Managers can use something called start job requisition. It walks them through the process a lot easier. There's a little like less fields to fill in and whatnot. But we're gonna be using create job rec. So you're aware there can also start job rec. You can take a look at it when we're doing this if you have extra time, if you'd like. But we will be using create job requisition. There's more information for us to fill in. So I can see my position is here. I'm going to put in the reason. This is just for reporting purposes. So the second option is for CE. So I'm going to say create job rec. This is technically for a new position, but if a candidate left, we can fill in that reason. We have resignation, retirement, termination, why we're creating this job rec. So I'm going to put a new position. I am going to enter my recruiting instruction. So the manager, the ops specialist, they would say, I want this posted externally only. I want this posted internally and externally. So when the recruiting coordinator gets the task to post the job, they see where they want it posted. Now you can override that as the recruiting coordinator and post it wherever you want, but you're going to see what their preferred posting instruction or recruiting instruction is. So I want it internally and externally. I want my recruiting start date. This is the important piece. Let me find this. Make sure I do it right myself. Should be fine. I'm gonna backdate. Were you backdating these?
The recruiting start date, I was.
Oh, okay. Okay, we can backdate these. I actually think today's date will be fine. I'm gonna backdate this just so we can make sure it gets posted. My recruiting start date, you're gonna select today's date though. Again, if you select a future date, it might cause problems. Select today's date. My target hire date, I'm gonna backdate as well to yesterday. Target end date, we're leaving blank. I was just talking to Rob and Nish about this recently. We're instructing everyone to leave it blank. They're not putting a target end date in. It's gonna close the job rec. It's gonna cancel things. So they're not putting a target end date in. When the recruiting coordinator gets to post the job, they can put an end date in. And what we've been talking about is they're going to be instructed to leave that end date in the job posting title. You'll see it as the recruiting coordinator. They'll leave a comment for you. You'll know when the recruiting end date is. So if you want to put, or target end date, sorry, if you want to put an end date in, you can as the recruiting coordinator post the job. But everyone else, ops specialists, managers, we're instructing them, don't fill in a target end date. Okay, so I'm gonna leave that blank. All right, I'm gonna click save, and then I'm gonna click next. Next, all of my job details are filling in. My job posting title, my job profile, they're coming over from the position, job family, time type. I can edit these and I can change them. I can also edit the questionnaires that are linked to the job posting. This one's just going to be the staff primary default questionnaire. You'll see that when you apply as an external candidate, but you can change that when putting in a job rec. I'm going to click next. Skills, we're not using skills right now from my understanding. We're not adding any of these, but we can add skills here. For now, we're just going to skip it. We don't need to worry about that. And then we have organizations. I can edit these. Ops specialists, I'm not sure about business partners we were noticing they could edit. So a manager wouldn't be able to go in here and edit and stuff, and it's not going to have that edit icon. But all of this should auto-populate and it should be coming over correctly. The correct people with the right security can edit these though. So I have my company, cost center, program fund, And then I have that hiring office, which is really important. So it's routed to the right person. They can edit those to make sure it's going to the right place. Ops and managers. Okay, I'm gonna click next. They can add any attachments. This is where they can add, I want this cover letter, or I think someone was mentioning yesterday, like in Life Sciences, they have like a bunch of certain attachments, documents they want on their job posting. This is where they would add them, and the recruiting coordinator would see these attachments they've added and put them in the job posting. So they would add attachments they need for the job posting here. I'm gonna click next. And then this one's super important, our last step. We need to assign a primary recruiter. So that's what this assign roles is. So you click the add button, and then we have our roles. So we have our 3 roles. It's not gonna let you submit this without assigning a primary recruiter though. We have to have a primary recruiter. You can assign a guest recruiter as well. They're gonna have visibility into this.
What don't they have?
The guest recruiter, like what can they not do?
What's different? How are those roles different?
I think they can see, are you sure? I think they can see everything the same. Misha was talking about how we're going to use them. The primary recruiter, I think, is just the one who's responsible for like moving it forward. They're going to have more responsibility. I think the visibility though of like the candidates and the job rec and everything is the same, I guess.
What's the confidential?
The confidential recruiter, I think, is going to be used not very often.
So so again, not sure exactly how BYU is using it, but typically for like if you needed to hire a president or somebody that like, you're not gonna post that job probably, or maybe you are, but it is very specific people that get to have access to that rec.
Okay, so today we're all going to select primary recruiter, and then we are assigning it to ourselves. All right, so let's make sure we have visibility, and then next week we can use our job hub, so we're going to see it. We're going to be the primary recruiter. It's getting routed to us, so super important. I'm going to assign it to me, Harper HR. I'm going to make sure, sorry, we have multiple Harper HRs. It's this one. Different colors. All right, and then I'm going to click next, and then this is my summary page with all the information I submitted. So really, like, I didn't add that much information. It's quite easy for a manager or an ops specialist. It's all coming over from that position. So they're reviewing it, they're adding some information in that they need. But a lot of it is coming over, which is super nice. So before I let you loose, and then we can answer some questions, we need to put in that target hire date. And then we also need to make sure we assign ourselves as primary. Those are the 2 big things. But there's an activity guide with steps you can follow along. And yeah, any question?
About the primary recruiter, so in these examples, we're putting ourselves as the primary. But in general, when departments are wanting jobs, who would the primary recruiter typically be?
So it depends. I've been talking with Nisha, and she said a lot of times it might be yourself. Like the ops specialist is creating the job rec, they would assign it themselves. And then the manager, the hiring manager, the position that's created on the moment does always have visibility. If a manager is creating it, then they would assign ops specialist as the primary. That is a great question, like how it's going to work. I think it kind of depends on the department. I think those are the 2 scenarios that I've mostly heard about. Yes, we should definitely look at that.
So, I know that I've had to explain to people a primary recruiter, but, what exactly we're relying on them as a function? I mean, they're able to see it, they're able to see what's going on, can they schedule interviews and.
Yeah, so next week we'll walk through all of that so you'll see it more, but yes, the primary recruiter's main job is to schedule the interview. If they select, it's a rated interview, which is I think new birthday. So basically that means it's a rated interview. They're going to get some interview feedback questions. Do they fit the mission and vision of BYU? Are they a good fit? They'll answer those questions in their inbox, the primary recruiter. And then the primary recruiter is responsible for reaching out to the reference. If they don't fill out the survey that gets sent to them, it should happen automatically. If they send a reference, they fill out the information they need, and it comes automatically back. If their references aren't filling out the information we need, they're responsible for calling them on the phone, saying, hey, I need to, yeah, emailing them, contacting them. I think those are the main responsibilities of the primary recruiter, and the rest is handled by the recruiting coordinator. And it definitely depends on employee types, but those are the two big ones, scheduling the interview, managing it.
Primary recruiter is going to keep people in the ops center.
And the hiring office, or the hiring managers, and it sounded to
I mean,
me
that's-
like when I talked to Mish about it, is that the primary recruiter is gonna be the hiring manager and anybody else, kind of like authorized hiring managers now.
Sure,
It's that role,
gotcha, okay.
but
So,
also ops.
but in the unified areas, so in unified areas, yeah, I guess it isn't the manager or
And,
ops center.
and
Okay. Interesting.
when she was talking about that, she never brought up guest recruiters, so now that's thrown me off, confidential recruiters.
Well, and I think it's because we were focusing so much on primary because you need it, and then
Yeah.
Misha was like, oh, like guest recruiters, they can select guest recruiters, and I think it just gives them visibility into everything. They can see the candidate grid, see where they're in the process. Are they getting interviewed? Are they screening?
Okay, so,
All of it might be the hiring manager or the ops is
So
the
they're saying it's
primary,
not.
and then the guest recruiter is everybody else within the office. They wanna have visibility.
Yeah. Maybe some people in the department need to have visibility, you'll find them.
And that's so, I'm asking for a real life example of when you would use a guest recruiter. A guest recruiter.
unified.
She did emphasize yesterday, like, oh, like, build a.
Probably just. They're the ones that have the.
So that means the
responsibility. Yeah.
So it's. Hiring.
I thought.
You wouldn't set up. Who said we were setting up?
Well, they're saying that it's the ops center that is the primary recruiter.
The ops center is gonna be setting up interviews for the.
Right, but if they're the primary
Primary
recruiter,
recruiter, you know,
The hiring manager.
Yeah.
The hiring manager would be the.
So then the manager would assign themselves to.
And then you resumes. Yes.
Then they would assign, yeah, the ops specialist as the guest recruiter.
I think in the collaborative areas, that might work with the ops specialists.
Yeah.
Being the primary recruiter, or maybe, I don't know.
I don't know if they're handled by department. I think in collaborative, it sounded like they wanted to schedule the interview for, like, if they have faculty members and they want to recruit, they didn't want their faculty members scheduling interviews and stuff. They were gonna.
I know managers are not gonna want to schedule interviews. I mean, maybe they will, but I guess it's.
Collaborative would be the office.
In unified, they're gonna have.
Right.
That's all right now.
Anyway, so that,
Set up.
Figure out.
so that's just, yeah, this is just, yeah. I didn't know how this worked.
Okay, we can answer some more questions before I set you guys loose. I'm gonna submit this and it's gonna be routed. Let's make sure it goes through. Oh, it might be because I left my page open. Oh, perfect. Sometimes if you leave your page open for a really long time, you just gotta refresh. Sorry. Okay, it's going to the staff recruiting coordinator. I know some of you are gonna get these inbox items. Let's wait a minute because we're gonna demo it and then some of you getting these can walk through it. So don't post them yet if they're coming to your inbox. Sounds good?
Sounds good.
Okay, we're doing activity 1.10, create a job rec. It'll take about 5 to 10 minutes. When I search the name of the person, it doesn't show us.
Which one were you? You were David Kaiser?
And also I can't get it through. Exit there, because you don't have.
So,
Okay,
let's go look at David Kaiser box, my tasks. See if you have it.
okay, I'll see.
Okay.
Okay. Oh, I did type KAI, let's see that. I see.
Let's do your best, make sure.
Okay, there it is, but yeah, I did
Okay, go to create job record.
Okay, oh my gosh, I don't even know how to start.
Do I click on this?
So
Yeah.
is that your position? That's the one you want to.
Oh, yeah. Wait, all right, is it-
What did you call the position, Tanya?
Try just type job change. Sorry, what did you call the position? The training staff.
So it
There
could
we
be
go.
training staff.
Oh, I don't know if I actually created one for Catherine, I'm sorry. I can do it
Okay,
again.
well, I have an open position. and I
You
just do it.
created one for her.
If yours is called training staff, feel free to change the job title.
Maybe I like
If we create it for you,
Okay, I'll go create another one for you. Actually, go ahead and grab any.
you can always hop back on that title. Training
And then for existing
coordinator.
position. See if you have any.
Let's
What job
see,
title?
Okay, well, I'll change that.
let's go, you're gonna.
Wait,
right now.
creating, exactly, okay.
So,
It's 16.
if you found an open position, like that we just.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay.
So, that is.
Create.
Oh,
I'm using position.
Okay, give me one second. So you're using a position. That's
Yeah,
that's,
So-
and then you're not seeing, okay, but you have.
So to get.
Let's, sorry.
The-
Oh, here's the position. Job.
Can you go over the related actions? So, yep, try to tweak it. And then you're gonna go down to job change, keep scrolling. Create job.
Well, let's talk about it. For the name of the position.
Job change.
Created that one.
Those are all, so the vacant ones have this.
Or click on it.
Job change.
Try. Can you click on the position?
Well, that was.
Probation staff. Click on hiring restrictions. These are,
Yeah.
full-time staff. Go ahead and create a job for that one. And then now you're just gonna go ahead and you're on,
Let's just find this. Or do you remember where you made it?
you just clicked OK. So you don't need to fill that in, so you're on step. Okay. Okay, we're gonna work on it. Hey,
I got it
Tanya.
here.
Yeah.
Okay.
She can, create a job run for the position. Look at this.
Here, no one can.
Oh, really?
I did.
Oh, you were gonna do it for the position I created?
Yes, but you created it for Jeremy Allen, not for me.
Correct.
But hers is created
You
for
looked at the
her.
workspace.
Good.
I got one. Do it for David for the.
Now you got yours.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Let's go to create job search and see. What I did. And under supervisor organization, what was the one that I gave you? Okay, just type them in, see if you can pull them up. It's their issue as well. Enter. No, we had to use a different one. Okay, so let's just type in a different manager that you might support. Just. Sure. Go for existing position. Let's just see if he has any. No, nothing at well, okay. Type in like David. Yeah, enter. Let's try David Moody.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, there we go. And then scroll down and fill one. These are all. Go back to the top. These are all. No, it just says unfilled and brings the. Bring up. No, you just select it. Yeah.
Did you find one?
Yeah.
Oh, well, so everyone has one?
Thank you.
Everyone, perfect.
You're selecting another.
I still know, I still know. this year. X that out. Let's X out the weird. And just do it.
Why isn't there just a BYU?
That's where you like specify. Cause your primary posting is BYU. So
Oh,
this is the
okay.
one that's specified. So see if you can do that. Try to save that. Here, go click the save icon. What is Eric's?
It said,
Oh, and it's not already used as a primary job posting location, BYU. So maybe it's just because PSB is,
it's already in there. Okay. So do I,
so.
I do have to do it. Oh, I can just leave this empty.
Yeah, you can,
Okay.
so you'll leave that one and then X out, I guess. Actually, okay, well, that's interesting. I haven't used additional locations. Because it's
I
like,
did it.
it's saying ASB is BYU, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
So it's like, we can't use the same thing. If we were to start posting some of them, I'd just leave like 4 and mine, my initials. And then we'll just leave 2 for each of them. Want to do that again? We'll leave 2 more so they can practice. Or we'll just leave 1, let's leave 3 total, 1 of them mine. And 2 random, so they can practice when I done this.
So,
So, proxy and captain.
Well, I just.
Yeah, and then I think they're the only 2. I can't find the position. Let's go to our archive, is that where you close? Box, this one, my tasks. Archive. You started the job rec, it looks like. I did, but it doesn't have training, this is the one I created. You created a job rec for the wrong position, for a different one? Yeah, okay, because I couldn't find it. So let's, let's search where that is, or you can go to Emily Smith, and they'll sit underneath Emily Smith.
I don't care.
You can click on that, but you can search. So you can navigate it to from the org chart with the more picture view, or you can just search for the search. Everyone.
So quickest way to get to that work terms from your profile.
We'll just check org chart in the search bar.
Oh,
Okay, so I'm trying to search for that.
Yeah, let's search for this position. These. Let's affordable. Let's go.
In progress. I'm stuck. Aside.
Professional door holder.
I just forgot where it was.
So you should see all the houses.
What is this version?
But how does it look different?
So.
Click on it.
I thought it was true.
Yeah, that one I just did.
Okay.
It's just.
Then we'll just gonna open this. You need to go add an application. To just scroll down. And then add that hour. It won't be. Just put on the back. So it's gonna. Please see you'll make it. Just go up something to that range. So that we're not left. And then you can just.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Okay, so now just.
That's just good for us too.
So. By someone else, no, by the hiring officers. Okay, I'm gonna go and then you should be able to find it.
Okay, I approved most of them.
Okay.
Couple for you.
So you can only get ibuprofen in like packets of 12 in the evening. And so it's like. Bring this the biggest bottle you have. Oh gosh.
Okay, go look for it now and see if it's there. What are you looking for? You're positioning.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry. Because I approved it.
Okay, so now I just click on it and say create.
And then, yep, the related actions.
And you said it's just in our box.
Yes.
Yes, so now, you don't do anything else, so if you scroll down, you can see it needs to be posted now. And you can see that it's sitting. Scroll.
Here.
Yeah, it's sitting.
Oh, I just did it on my own.
She completed it, she did it. That's why.
I think I forwarded this one to you.
So
because
your job is
you're gonna cover for me.
Because I have it here.
But I think what I'm gonna do.
It has a bunch of jobs right on this afternoon.
And the one this afternoon.
We're gonna do just a couple more minutes of wrapping up. I'm hoping you should.
Yeah, I would, because it's.
Yes, if it's not, then we might just have someone who can't post it.
I think that's
Save with you.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna-
We posted a lot of them, but not all.
And. You might know.
Is that in your?
It's in my, yeah, my little inbox.
Yeah.
Because here it says put termination cost.
On Teams.
Emory does come.
So I'm sorry.
Mine is.
But you can't determination, but it's not a big deal. I think the actual date, I don't think it's causing itself on.
Sure. Okay.
If it was terminated, it's possible at the end of the day.
Then I
So
just
for
send
them
that.
to those position, it was like, you have to do it, so that's why.
No.
Not for all injury.
Yeah.
It's a clear process.
So I'll start highlighted.
Yeah, but everything's filled in, sure. So it looks good. You really don't have to fill in too much here. You don't need skills. So you can see that.
That's scroll and we saw everything's
Everything's really correct. It was the wrong.
Which we did in our training, I think.
About to add it, attachments.
But I don't think it's all.
You can do it on your own.
You can submit it, you can do it on your own. Okay, are we all wrapping up? I'm gonna kind of finish these things up so we should. Right now, it's a long session.
Right, you try.
And we'll have one more coming by next turn.
We have one update on the sorry, I'm not being coherent. Guest recruiter. That was the question. When would we use a guest recruiter? For faculty, we could use this to add search committee members. For staff, it was initially used for additional interviewers. But now we have Workday has added an interview team. So it sounds like the best use case would be for faculty to add search, for faculty hires to add search committee members.
But so for staff, it's still, they just have visibility. They can't do anything.
Yeah, the guest recruiter.
The guest
Recruiters, yeah.
Yeah.
But
So-
now there's a
Anyone who needs to, in a staff position, set up interviews, they need to be primary recruiters to be able to do that.
I believe so.
Okay, that's what I originally heard.
Yeah, yes. To set up interviews, they need to be the. Alrighty, we are gonna keep moving forward. So really quickly, you can edit, freeze, and close the job requisition. So again, we can edit the job requisition details, the job posting title, job profile. So if you made a mistake, you can go back and edit it, depending on your security. You can freeze a job requisition. So if you want to stop recruiting, you can just freeze that job requisition, but you don't have to close it. Because if we close the requisition, we're permanently closing it. Yep, and so that's for when we maybe open an error, the position is closed, it's no longer required, so we want to just freeze them. Close them if we want to permanently close them.
Okay, I'm just trying to compare it to how it did with the position.
It's pretty similar. Closing permanently closes both of them, freezing it, we're just pausing it, freezing them. Editing, you can edit all those details with both. Okay. We're getting towards the end. We're gonna post these jobs. We've posted a lot of them. I'm gonna demo posting, I think, you two in the front. We're gonna post them, so follow along with me. I don't think anyone else is getting post job in my inbox, so let me know if you are. And then we're all gonna apply as external candidates, and that's how we're gonna wrap up. We'll talk about the our career hub and like career pages for people to apply. Just a couple slides on that. So, okay, so for post job, for staff and student, it's going to be the recruiting coordinators to post the job. For faculty, it'll be the faculty hiring offices that post the job. They're able to see the recruiting instructions and post it accordingly. All right, so we are going to quickly jump back into okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, so I'm going to should have done this. I'm going to since Harper HR doesn't have the security, I'm going to proxy in. Just don't worry about this, Catherine. So I'm Catherine right now. She has some post-job inbox items. And so I'm going to go find my my job rec. It's got my initials by it. So if you guys see these, grab one in your inbox and you can follow along. So it's pretty simple. She gets this inbox item to post the job. She sees the recruiting instruction, post internally and externally. So she's gonna select both of those. It's gonna be external BYU career sites and internal. You can see some of the other career sites.
Mine disappeared. Somebody,
Oh, sorry, might have been me.
They do.
I think I know
posted a
what
few.
it is.
Perfect. We'll just post those last few. Did you want to follow along?
Yeah, it is. So instead of doing the one you're doing. just
Do a different one.
do a
Yeah.
different one. So I click on it.
Yep, and then you just make sure it gets posted externally. Trying to get all that. Okay,
I think we do, like, external career sites.
they can click this preview job posting so they can preview it before they post it, and they can click OK. And this is where they're gonna see that preview. They have all this info, why I work at BYU. They have the comp range. They have this internal one, so they're able to view all of this information. They can go in and edit the job if they want to change it before it's posted. But for today, I'm just gonna go ahead and post it. It looks good. I'm gonna go ahead and click OK. And this is where they could add that end date if there needed to be an end date. And then I'm gonna submit it and it's gonna get posted. Let's see.
might have already posted it.
This item is no longer available.
That means somebody posted it.
Someone posted it, so I'd submit it and it'd be posted. Okay. That was just our quick demo on posting a job. We'll come walk by, get the rest of them posted. Do you want to make sure all of them?
Yeah. So you can look in here as cap, okay, so everybody's, you don't have anything else in your inbox, so should be good.
Awesome. I think they're all posted. Okay, we'll double check that in a second. Okay,
And then it goes in your archive.
it does go in your archive, so you can go see the history. Yep. Alrighty. All right, our last couple slides. Okay. So let's talk about career sites. There is, we've narrowed down our career sites, but we have specific ones for BYU careers, faculty, a student job sites that's only going to be internally. So an internal job site, and we're going to take a look at that. We have a continuing education careers, EFY jobs, and FSY jobs. So this reduced from 11 to 6 external career sites. And there's a huge internal career sites, job hubs for internal employees, which is awesome. It's in Workday. All of their information that they have in their worker profile will just get uploaded automatically when they apply for the job. Awesome. Some benefits: only active students can apply to the student job sites. It caters for those incoming freshmen, for returning missionaries. So lots of wins with our new career sites. This is kind of what our external one looks like. You're going to get to look at it. We're all going to go apply an external candidate as the last thing we do here. We head out. It's very nice. They get inbox items here. If they need to submit a reference, they log in. It's super nice. This is our internal one. All active employees are going to apply internally. They are able to access this through the job hub. And we'll take a look at that. But they're able to go to the job hub, browse jobs. They're all going to appear for them. They can sort them and filter them from a hiring manager to a location, to a job, family, group, category, full-time, part-time. They can go filter all their jobs, look for all the open positions across campus. Awesome. Okay, job application. Really fast. This is just kind of an overview slide that we have. They're going to apply externally or apply internally, and then that's when we kick off the recruiting process, screening, interviewing, all of that. All right, and then we talked about this, but we just really wanted to emphasize the two different sites, external and internal now, and that internal candidates can apply through the job hub. Maybe I spoiled this one. Okay, we are active employees applying for a non-check. What? Internal, what is it called though? What's the app called? Job Hub, yeah. That's what it looks like. Job Hubs. Awesome. Okay, for our last demo and activity, and if you're heading out, no problem. You can do this at home. Everyone can do this at home.
Don't forget to do the check-in.
Yeah, don't forget to do the check. We're gonna apply as an external candidate. You guys are going to do this as an activity. You're going to, we're gonna help you find that external link. You're gonna click on the external link and you're gonna apply as an external candidate. You're gonna create a fake name, a fake email. You're gonna do all those steps. I'll walk you through the beginning process and then you're gonna go apply, answer all those questionnaires. And you need to remember your login information so you can log back in later. So write it down, I'll call that out, but let's go ahead and do that and then we'll wrap up. Yes.
The dumbest question for the recruiting manager to ask, how do I get to the external site?
Well, the external link is kind of hard to find. Yeah, it's weird. So let's go do that. And then I'll pull this slide up at the end. When you guys start working in it, don't forget to take your check-in survey. And then next week we have an external candidate that applied and we can move up through the recruiting process. All right, so I'm gonna hop back. Okay, I'm gonna go look for my external link. So give me 1 second to hop back in as her. Okay, so I am going to click on the job requisitions button on the left side to open the job rec workspace. Actually, were you going through the, I think we can find it from here. Okay, let's see if we can find it from here. If we can't, that's okay.
We weren't going there because not everybody has.
They should as a primary recruiter. Is everyone seeing these buttons on the left side?
Yeah.
Is it job hub?
I'm not.
No, you're not? You're not? Okay, we're gonna go do it.
The dashboard brings up find jobs, BYU careers. on the
Okay.
left.
Let's you guys will see this next week if you're not seeing it. You have to, yeah, so you'll see it next week.
What are those ones?
So let's go a different way. This is the easiest way.
They're all
Let's go to my tasks.
This is.
And then let's go down to archive.
Thank you.
And then we're gonna click on that job requisition. And we just wanna grab that job requisition number and you can write it down for future use, bring it next week. It might be helpful to remember. So mine is JR278. This is just the fastest way. You would find it through like your recruiting hub and things like that, but we'll just find it here. So I'm gonna type in the search bar that number, JR:278. And click enter. Awesome. Okay. This is pulling up for me my job rec. Give a minute to catch up. And click on my job rec and open it up. And then I'm going to go to job postings, the tab job postings. And you can see I have my external link here on the job posting. So now I can go view it. Okay, everyone there? Perfect. So let's click on this link and I'm going to give you one more thing just so this gets a little confusing. This takes me to my external job hub where I can apply, my external career homepage. And I'm going to apply for this, but I need to sign in first. I'm not signed in. So this is where you create your fake account. We're clicking this small sign in up here. Sign in. Yes.
Aren't we supposed to be applying to internal jobs as employees?
But we're going to pretend to be fake.
Oh,
External candidates, because we want to do that. Yep. So that's why we're going to create a fake one. Yep. You guys, this is just fun. You get to see what it looks like for an external candidate, but in the future, you'll use this.
If we clicked on apply, it didn't have an account, but if we clicked apply now, would it make us create an account?
It would. You can create an account.
Uh,
Yep. And then you want to click create account. So don't start signing in. Click create account, whichever way you got to it. And then this is where we're going to enter our fake email. You can name it Sally Staff, your dog's name, and let's just do @test.com. So mine will be Sally Staff @test.com. And I'm writing down my email and my password I use so I can log in next time. Right, from here, once you create your fake account, you acknowledge and agree, follow those instructions, you're just applying. Couple tips to make it easier, say you're a member, you don't say you're a member, it gets rather weird. Say you did work for the church before, this is fake, if you answer those questions, it'll make you answer more. Say you don't work for a church, you have no blood relatives, just quickest way possible, answer those questions. And you don't need to fill in anything like a resume, you don't need to, you have to attach a document, but you don't need to put in actual work experience skills, just leave it blank.
I actually applied to your job instead of mine, so okay. Or do I need to go back out?
Go apply for yours, because you're the primary recruiter. Yeah, you want to apply for yours, so then someone applied for your job.
Do I do autofill with resume?
Probably just apply manually, it's easiest. You might do that.
There should be, all these instructions are in the activity guide as well.
You're good. I think we're doing, activity 1.11.
You already said a bit about the email address, Lauren.
At test.com.
Yes, yeah, make sure you use @tents.com so nobody gets a random email. And make sure you write it down.
I don't think they should be getting, I think all notifications are turned on. Choose one, so it's okay, but to be safe.
So it says I may have used the wrong email address.
You gotta create.
Oh gosh.
That's fine. This is weird. This is like a weird thing. We don't usually do it this way, right? Awesome. And then if anyone needs to leave, this is totally something you can do later. And so you can take off or you can finish up here, but if you could just have it done before next week, then we'll have your candidate ready to be screened and go through all those next steps. I'm gonna fall in. Perfect.